following podcast contains strong language, graphic violence, Brian Blessed, and nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, you old cocker. You want another good walloping? Tony, be in my room, 10:30. John, 10:45. Bring a friend. Not Eric.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Tony, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Four Guys in a Movie, the podcast about movies, snacks, and all things nerdy. I'm your host, Rob Hood, joined by my merry men, Tony the Little.
John is Friar Tuck because he made me a little inebriated.
John's Little John.
Fuck.
What?
Well, Tony already went Tony the Little. So.
Fine.
Oh, whatever.
I'm
Big
Brick.
John.
Brick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm Friar fucked.
How are we already off the rails?
I didn't even get to go.
Mead.
I am the sheriff of Joingham, and it's past Rob's bedtime. Brick's drunk.
Unprofessionalism, lack of planning, alcohol. I'm sure there's more, but that should be enough.
Here's the thing. Brick has had less than an ounce of liquid.
I have been eating nonstop since I got here.
That should make it.
Yeah,
That
that's
should make it
know.
better.
the situation.
He's had
But
the
it
equivalent
does-
of like one shot.
I've had an edible, 2 drinks, and
No,
like
that was
2
more
shots.
than one shot. That was like
No, it's
No.
19%, and you had
He had like less than
Like-
half an ounce in each glass.
yeah.
oh
You're
well,
just
also for context, you had the same amount we all had,
yeah.
at least, but most of us have had more,
But
and others.
I like it.
So
Okay.
this podcast is fucked.
Yeah, this podcast is fucked. Speaking of
So
fucked,
thanks for listening.
what did we watch tonight? Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, from a 1991.
Fresh in that period where you couldn't watch a Costner film without seeing his ass.
Well, the extended cut was released later, though, in like 2001 or something, yeah?
a decade later.
Something like that.
It's possible. I don't. This movie's a bit complicated on all that, so.
Because they
Tell
never
us some
had a
shit
director's
about
cut.
this movie, then.
Well, yeah, we'll start with the director. Director is Kevin Reynolds, who did
Ryan Reynolds.
yes, the Beast of War, not to be confused with Beast Wars.
I mean, it would have made some more
The
sense.
187, The Count of Monte Cristo, and Waterworld.
The 187.
Well, this
Yeah.
is the guy that Kevin Costner threw out the window and took over Waterworld from.
Yes,
Okay.
Like
Which
actually
started
through out the window?
with this. So
No.
that's
But yeah, I was gonna ask. I'm like, is this guy director in name only, and Kevin Costner took over most of the production?
no, but it seems like he certainly was starting to stick his hands into the honey
Yeah.
pot. Supposedly at one point he kicked out the editor and did a final edit on this movie, which was not well received by most people.
it was just repeats of his ass shot over and over
Apparently,
again.
there was a lot to edit in this film.
With
Yeah,
Bryan
sure
Adams
was.
singing in the background.
But funny enough, some people that were considered for this movie include like Carrie Elways and Patrick Stewart, who
Okay.
both go on to be in Robin Hood Men in
Alright.
Tights.
Excellent.
They got the consolation prize.
How
yeah.
Patrick Stewart? Like
He had
even
been
in
in
'91,
one.
he was old. Like
He had been
No,
in
no,
one
oh,
before.
sorry, for the King.
oh, for
Yeah.
King
That
Richard.
makes sense.
Okay.
Or no, I think he was the sheriff. Maybe.
What?
Either way,
No, come
we're not
on.
talking Robin Hood.
Yeah, in the height of Picard, I couldn't buy Patrick Stewart as the sheriff.
I'm sorry. Yes, it was Patrick Stewart and Richard E. Grant. He certainly would have been a very different sheriff. We'll get into that in a moment.
I don't know who Richard E. Grant is. It's fine. It's not.
Was
that
he
hard.
in Love Actually?
Possibly.
That's possible. I don't know.
If you look hard enough, everyone's in there.
He was in. He was in. The reason he didn't do this was he was
got
in
a
Hudson
gummy
Hawk,
chimera.
which we saw.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
think.
boy.
I think he was the lead bad guy. What's his fucking from Mystery Men? If that helps. Okay.
Does not.
No, that the lead bad guy.
I know he knows
was,
Mystery Men. I'm trying.
Yeah. lead bad guy was the same guy that played like Barbosa and in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's what's his name? The
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, you were
Wait,
right.
He was in Mystery. Okay.
He was the main bad. He's Casanova Frankenstein.
I've
Yeah.
seen Mystery Men twice.
Richard E. Grant is a similar type.
Okay.
So anyway,
Both
At least
times
in my
I
head.
think we're under duress.
Wow. Other than and Johnny Depp apparently turned down the role of Will Scarlet.
Okay.
That would have been interesting.
It would have been about on par, I think.
But Alan Rickman turned down this role several times until basically they told him, do whatever the fuck you want, which he did.
He was like, "You're going to regret that."
Most of this movie, he either improvised or rewrote with
Yes.
comedy friends that he hired.
No.
Yes. So
I believe the quote that I read was something like, "The script is garbage. Please make it better. I need better lines."
yes, basically.
Yeah, I picture when it was handed to him, he just in like full Sheriff of Nottingham tantrum mode, just like threw it across the room, and was just like, "I'll do what I want on this set."
Stuttered,
Also-
shuddered, and
Not
then threw it across the
Read
room.
this.
Also, again, take it all with a grain of salt because I'm reading this off of IMDb, so who knows? But I love this idea, so I want it to be true, which is Alan Rickman and a couple comedians that he hired worked on this script while sitting in a Pizza Hut.
I mean,
Well, of course.
that's where business was done back
That's
in
where
the day.
business is done.
They had
But
their
yeah,
little foot puppets on their hands, and they were like,
I want that so bad.
"We read all our books. Give us a free
Well,
pizza."
He
I
channeled
haven't
the
had
experience
stuffed
of
crust in
being
a
there
while.
into the rage of playing the sheriff.
And yeah, what part of the reason Kevin Conroy, Kevin Costner apparently did some major edits on this movie is rumor has it he cut out a lot of Alan Rickman's things originally because he felt he was being upstaged. So
He was being upstaged by literally everyone on
Everyone
the
in
set.
this movie.
by the stage, the literal
Yeah.
stage.
Anything that said a line. I
Don't.
kind of
Don't-
skipped this part, but
don't-
has anyone in
don't-
this? Okay, so first of all, has everyone in this room tried this popcorn?
No.
No. All right.
Please,
Then
may
wait.
I have some
Has everyone in this
corn?
room seen this movie before?
Yes.
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 How
I
many-
actually had.
How many of you have seen it in the theaters?
I had not.
Nope.
Not in the theater.
Tony and I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Tony and I, we somehow used to play Robin Hood in our backyard. wherever.
Somehow.
Yeah, well, we were children, all for starters.
And
I think I was always Azim.
no, well, that's debatable.
He's got the beard for it.
But you were the brilliant one that said we could put those little foam balls on the end of the arrows and fire them at each other,
Yes.
and it'd be totally cool.
I did take my father's bow and wrap a bunch of arrows. I wrapped the tips in duct tape to make them safe. And would shoot Tony with them. They were safe.
Tony's still here.
And his
Yeah,
and Tony
I
and
survived.
Tony and his
It
friends.
was safe
I believe.
enough.
yeah.
Anyway, and
Oh no, that was a water balloon. I think I pegged Tom with
Mm.
down the street.
yeah,
That's
That
like
was-
when
that was a miraculous hit, man.
that was a great shot.
I had my brother fire arrows at me so I could catch them.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, at least it was intentional.
Okay.
Also, though, just a quick note:
go
since
on.
you routinely compared these people to Ewoks, it's funny because I was wondering if you remembered this. I did read it, but I did also remember that at the time the playset Kenner put out was just the Ewok village. They just put it out under Robin Hood banner.
Oh, I did not know that. I don't remember anything about toys.
I know one
for
time
this-
you knew
this
that.
movie.
One time you knew that.
I'm sure I did, but right now I don't.
Yeah. So want to guess how much this movie cost? to
Oh
make?
god, probably I'm gonna say 50 million.
I'll go 60.
I'm going to go 40.
Someone hand me a handful of nonsense from that bucket, please.
$1.
It's a good try, but Brick gets it. It was $48
That's pretty good.
million.
How much was it? 38.
40.
48. Oh,
And Brick said 40.
okay.
I knew it
Alright.
couldn't have been
You were
more than
just a
60.
little over.
I was close.
So you were the closest, but
I
Brick was
understand.
technically the closest
I
beat without
understand.
being over. I want to guess how much it made.
Oh, like several noblemen's carts full of gold.
So I remember a couple of things from this movie,
Mm.
like the marketing.
You remember the cereal?
I remember the arrow. There was a cereal for this movie?
Cereal.
I don't remember that. I remember the arrow shot was like a big deal.
Hmm.
And I remember that guy that played Friar Tuck. This was like his breakout role or some shit.
Probably. I know he's in a lot of other things, but
Yeah, but like nothing.
yeah, I can't remember.
Confuse him for the guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
So I'm gonna say 400 million for this.
That's a huge number.
A big number. I'm going big, or I'm going home. I'm already home.
I'm thinking it's between a hundo and two hundo, so I'm gonna say 150 million.
150. Okay.
I'm gonna say 100.
180.
I'm gonna have to give it to John here. Rob, once again, closest but over. It was 390 million.
$3,900.
This did really well.
Oh yeah, this and out of the many Robin Hood movies that are out, this is the tops. This made the most money.
Guys, email the podcast if you think I was robbed of that victory.
Robbed.
I remember recreating this many times on my my Lego Kingdom sets because they had the forest guys, and they had the knights, and I would recreate these battles, and it was that was my shit till the pirate Legos came out. That was like my jam.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember hearing Bryan Adams every fucking day of the week, over and over.
So, not gonna lie, when I was a little 10, 11-year-old boy, I was a big fan of that song.
Oh, yeah?
It touched me deeply.
I used to practice singing it so I could swoon all my girlfriends.
Do you need to show us on the doll where?
Yeah. Mostly the dick.
But not entirely.
Not
Some of it was the
entirely.
heart.
Some of it was the heart. Touched me in the heart.
Some of it was the butthole.
Some of it was the butthole.
Some
most
of it was your soul.
It was the heart, dick, butthole, in that order.
This is the doll you're searching
No, but like I
for.
tried to get like the music sheet for this so I could learn to play it on keyboard. Never did.
So when I was an early teenager and I didn't know about like other Bryan Adams music, I used to think Bryan Adams was just terrible. And then like the mid and late 90s came along and so much shittier music came out.
You're like, he's just mostly
that
terrible.
he got better without doing anything. And then I heard earlier songs like Summer '69 and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy is actually a good
Fucking
musician.
terrible. Oh, okay, sorry.
To each their own.
As someone who has heard Summer of '69 probably almost every day for the past 20 plus years.
I hear you.
See, but that's a song I could listen to forever.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's a song I could really cut my wrist to in a
Don't
bathtub.
particularly like the lyrics, but I like the way it's arranged.
Fair enough.
I can't open this.
We'll do it.
No, I don't want you to do
I
it.
have Leatherman.
Don't do anything.
If I can't open it, I don't deserve to have them.
No.
Oh.
Put your knife away.
This is Rob's enrichment trying to open a package of gushers.
Yo, for real.
That
That
also means
popcorn
this is
is
going to be the
amazing.
next 20 minutes of this podcast.
Well, I have to know how hard this actually is.
It might not be hard. Like
No, I just opened
okay.
it in 5 seconds.
Okay.
You just can't do it.
All right, I'm not an octopus. I'm a.
the gusher? Yeah. Like,
I got it open. I'm not an octopus. I'm a retard. There's a difference.
I did not come here to discuss the differences between octopi and mentally challenged people.
It hurts my teeth.
This is so. I'm so fascinated yet so embarrassed. Just sitting next to you.
yep.
As you should be.
Who's in this
So,
movie? Joe.
Okay, I don't even need a friggin' cast list. You got Kevin Costner as the worst thing in this film, Robin Hood. You got Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio as the lovely Maid Marian. You have Alan Rickman just fucking owning this film as the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh, so much.
And that's really all you need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Morgan Freeman coming in
Morgan
there
Freeman,
as
Morgan
Azim.
Freeman.
You got a little Sean Connery at the end as King Richard.
You got Christian Slater,
You got Christian Slater. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was hot
Will
at the time.
Scarlett.
Yeah, but
Just
Are
him.
you waving hands at Sean Connery?
Just shoved in there.
kinda, yeah.
Wait,
No,
Hey.
you don't.
No,
You don't do that.
I can do that because he's
Will Scarlett was Christian Slater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man
Who's
speaks,
Kevin Costner
and my
play?
libido is
Robin Hood.
Oh,
what?
Don't worry.
I confused the two. You were talking Christian
See?
Slater. Or...
This is why we don't
Yeah.
ask. No, but no, it's not against Sean Connery, but like literally he shows up in the last 5 minutes. Doesn't really
That's
matter.
all. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Yeah, but-
like,
It's actually better if you just get to 5
That's all
minutes.
they could afford.
Because you know what? You know why they did that? So they ensured that people would stay through the credits. Because everyone in that theater's dicks would be so hard at the sound of his voice.
Yeah,
they couldn't get
I'm
up
not
and leave.
standing.
well, that yeah. I mean that, and they're like, all right, we can have him here for a scene that's like 5 minutes before he assaults someone.
Yeah, we can get him out in and out quick.
Well, also like his masculine. Like, how do you have
He was
Robin
already
Hood
on a horse.
as the main character when his masculinity would just like destroy everything?
Yeah, he's playing the king, so his normal like delusions of grandeur are actually going to be helpful. And
I mean, he's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
His delusions of grandeur are merited.
It's yeah, they're not really delusions.
Just imagine what Bull would have gone
Well,
through, though.
just because he can beat a man to death with either of his thumbs doesn't
well, no, I
doesn't
forget-
mean that he needs to demonstrate it all the time.
I forget which movie it was on, but it was on the set, I think, of one of the James Bond movies, where he literally, I believe he took, it was either a knife or a pistol away from an actual legit gangster, beat the fuck out of him in front of his girlfriend, who was the leading lady, and then like,
Snogged her.
Probably.
yeah.
Maybe like later on that day, but yeah. Possibly right there on the table.
Yeah.
You never know.
They don't always ask with words.
At that point, I really worry what snog officially means. But
Whatever he decides it
that's
means.
what I'm afraid of. Yes.
It's nothing to be afraid
Also,
of.
though,
Just lay back and enjoy it.
While you're pumping up his ego, I would just like to remind you that while doing this movie, he was also filming Highlander 2.
Listen, no,
Hey,
you gotta pay those bills.
And it shows that he was split thin amongst many projects.
Glad he put the most effort into the right one.
All right, let's get this going. All right, we start this off on some like shitty looking medieval tapestry, and then you get the credits, and then it cuts to like somewhere. I forgot if it was Jerusalem or
Jerusalem, yeah.
and
I believe Israel specifically, right? Or
Jerusalem.
No,
Israel.
Jerusalem.
was it just? Oh, okay.
Israel did not exist at this point.
Yep.
That was a good point. So
And-
why did I even think that? Okay.
Yeah, Robin of Locksley, he went off to crusades with a lot of other nobles, including Richard the Lionheart, and he's been captured. He's been captured with his friend Peter, and they're in an Arabic prison. And in Arab prisons, what happens is they just cut your hands off.
Right, yeah. If
well, for
Aladdin has
stealing.
taught me anything about how the
Yeah.
world works.
Well, that's right. Someone stole bread, so I guess
They
that
cut
does.
the hand off.
Yeah,
That's not
Street
what
rat.
Nazim was going to get because he had a different body part implicated.
That's true, yeah. He was going to get a different sort of dismembering. But anyway, what ends up happening, Robin's like, this guy Peter's going to get his hand cut off. Robin's like, check it out, I'll get my hand cut off. I'm going to show you some English courage. English courage consists of tugging harder than the dude that's holding your hand down and pulling his hand in front of the scimitar as it crashes down.
After you've been like wasted away in prison for who knows how long.
I think we just had a glass of English courage.
Well, Kevin Costner ate all the nutrients he was storing in his beard
His Danish
over the
courage.
course of weeks. So he was returned to full potency. So now he grabs the scimitar. He starts killing the other people, the other guards. But the scimitar can't cut through chains. But Morgan Freeman's only tied up. So
Hope
he's
can.
So he's like, all right, Morgan Freeman's like, set me free. I know the way out. It'll be cool. He's like, fine, I'll cut you loose. The three of them run away. They go through the sewers. They climb out the sewers, and they're just on some random soundstage somewhere against a really bad matte painting. And the most casual guard in the land, he just sees them, and he's just like, draw the bow, bleh, and like lazily fires an arrow into Peter.
Just the one.
Mortally wounds him. Yeah, Then he's just like, he just goes back to whatever he was doing.
He only had one arrow left.
Yeah, he only had one. He's like, hey, can you guys throw that back?
He's like, now you said if I see an infidel fire the arrow, I did. I'm just gonna continue on my patrol.
Contract fulfilled.
And when you said it, you said the arrow, singular.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's all I'm obligated
and
to do.
the infidel, singular.
Singular. Yeah.
You never said more than one. And frankly, I'm not paid enough.
And so
I hear him.
Morgan Freeman's like, yeah, this guy's mortally wounded. You can't save him. But I could save you. Let's go in the alleyway over here and just savage this fucking melon that I found. He gives it like the Triple H face buster, breaks it open.
They raped the shit out of them.
Oh yeah, it's brutal what happens here.
Costner at least uses his hand.
Yeah, and Costner's like, oh, Robin, he's like, all right, whatever your name is, I'm gonna go. I gotta go back to England. He's like, well, you saved my life.
I'm a
so
Wookiee now.
I gotta, it's my honor. I have to, save yours. I have to repay my debt.
I have a Gungan life debt.
Yeah, and he's like, you really don't have to do that. He's like, fuck you. I'll decide what I can and can't do.
You're not wrong. But it's really teetering on that edge of becoming
The
something.
delivery.
Yeah, just
So Azim here, Morgan Freeman's character, he's just roped into this adventure. And
He's not roped in.
not
He
roped
shows
himself.
it at
Well,
every
yeah.
turn.
Well, yeah.
yeah, but
Robin even tries to get rid of him when he gets back to England.
so
Forcibly.
now it
and
cuts.
sadly, this was praised as one of the better portrayals of Muslims in movies at the time.
Well, I mean, he's not.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, he's never portrayed as like.
No, but that's why. But I mean, that means the other examples are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness you're here to look out.
So
Yeah, because I mean, in every other one, it was just Indiana Jones shooting him.
Yeah.
cut to Locksley Castle, and I did not know at the time that Robin's father here is Brian Blessed. And I'm like, why the fuck was Brian Blessed either not Little John or Friar Tuck?
What's the importance of Brian Blessed?
I need that gigantic jawline just going like,
What
you
if
know,
they
the
had
whole
gotten,
film.
What if they had gotten Robert Zadar as Little
No,
John?
because Robert Zadar, that's a whole different animal. No,
Much
Brian
wider
Blessed is
animal.
like one of the great overactors of British cinema.
I didn't realize you were that familiar.
And
I just remember he was Bluto in Popeye.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
The Robin Williams one?
and he was the King of the Eagle Men in Flash Gordon.
Brian Zardoz.
so now Brian Blessed, so this guy comes in and he's like, there's some dudes in white masks and white cloaks. I'm like, the Klan?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I
too.
think we all had that
they
reaction.
they went around and like burned the village and killed my son. And so fucking this
setting up
whatever, I don't know what
Planned
this
Parenthoods all
noble's
over the
rank
Shire.
is, but he's got like Duncan, the one
Idaho.
servant, and he doesn't have any men at arms or like any militia he can call up or anything. He's just like, well, I'll get on my horse and I'll handle this whole problem myself. And so he opens the gates, and the Klan is just like right out burning a cross on his front lawn. And the guy was like, sorry, fooled you, and runs off.
Like they don't even close the gate.
Yeah.
He could have gone back in.
Yeah, all you had to do was go back inside.
He's also on a horse. He could, even if he didn't want to go inside, he'll be like, you fuckers still have to catch me. Like, I know it's a horse carrying a Brian Blessed, but
It's also kind of a weird scenario because it's not like they lured him into the forest. Like,
No.
where are your men on the walls to just take them down with arrows?
it's just Duncan.
He doesn't. Yeah,
Why didn't he look out? Like,
Also,
I don't know what that drawbridge looked like, but usually they have like
also funny that you just mentioned
gate.
You're
Yeah,
dancing
they could
around.
close that.
You're dancing around the answer again, Rob, because you mentioned Gungans. Brian Bless was Boss Nass, or the voice of these.
All right, so
Forgot about that.
Just cut to Henry Cavill.
so yeah, the Klan
He's
lynches
famous.
him, and then
with a sword.
yeah, we see their leader is Alan Rickman, and 4 months later, Kevin Costner is landing at the cliffs of Dover. In my head, I'm playing a sweet guitar solo.
Hell yeah, you are.
That's all. That song's fucking awesome. But then he like gets out of the boat, starts making out with the beach.
Licking the sand.
yeah. He's got so much sand in his
Oh yeah,
mouth.
and the salt water. He's making mud angels. He's just
He
like
will not
Azim
be a
looks at
Sith
him
Lord.
and he's just like the fucking worst.
I mean, Azim's lucky he made it out of there alive because halfway through, Kevin Costner just saw him as a big turkey leg.
It was also like, dude, in like 2 years, I'm going to be drinking my own pee. So, we got to ease into it with a little salt water, a little sand.
It was a halal turkey leg, though, so it was pretty cool.
So now Robin has put the boat crew up to just at random pretending to attack him so that the Zim can...
Well, I don't think they were pretending.
No, he nodded to him.
They were ready to go, though.
Yeah, we're going to really kill him.
Yeah, so they come at Azim. He's like, I can smell them downwind.
Garlic.
And he just fucking, like, takes one of them down. And the other boat crew is like, all right, I don't want any more of that.
Bored.
They just take him and leave. And Robin's like, well, I had to try. And then they're walking along. They're having some good character development time, walking on a stone wall.
Yeah.
Robin's like, he takes some mistletoe. He's like, oh, man, I forced so many women to make out with me with this.
That's right.
And, Azim's like, where I'm from, we just talk to girls and, just get them to consensually.
No chloroform
Well,
involved.
he never said consensually. He just said we talk to girls.
Yeah. So then Robin's like, oh, so you were in prison for a woman. He's like, how? He's talking to him like that, like, you piece of shit, you're gonna die for a woman. And then Azim's like, well, I'm Muslim, I gotta face east, I gotta pray towards Mecca, and I need to know where the sun is. And Robin's like, well, I need to know what this woman's name was, and I'm not gonna tell you where the sun is until you spill the beans. So we find out there was some woman named Yazima. Was she worth it? She's
Yasmina,
worth
Joe.
dying for. Yasmina, yeah.
You said Yazima.
Oh, Yasmina.
And
Which I believe
is
either way,
acne
cream.
Was she worth it?
No.
She's worth dying for.
Zima's never worth it.
Which sets up a a line for later. But at this point they're interrupted because this boy who is also a poacher. I wrote in my notes boy poacher, and I'm like, that's not what he was.
No.
He
Gotta
might
put a
have been.
comma in there.
That guy comes later.
Well, technically, we don't know officially he wasn't.
Yeah.
That's true.
We don't see it happen, but doesn't mean it's not.
this is brought to
It's
you
one of
by
those
the
things
International
you don't assume
Punctuation
people
Commission.
are until they're proven.
For
That's
the
fair.
love of a
That's fair.
12-year-old boy.
Commas are important.
So either way, he's running from like a bunch of goons with dogs and whatnot. And he hides in a tree. Robin shows up. He's like, who are all you people? Why are you chasing this kid up a tree? And, they're like,
And the villain says,
No, at this point, I could still understand him.
well, it's the sheriff's cousin here. He's like, hey,
Guide Gizmore.
guy to Gizmore.
well, he's played by that like Val Kilmer wannabe looking guy.
This is the guy I think that plays Dollar Bill in The Crow.
That sounds right.
So
I'm sure he was in other things.
I thought is that the name of the head honcho?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize his name was Dollar Bill because that's just silly.
Dollar Bill. It's better than 50 Cent.
yeah,
Yeah.
twice as
Twice as
effective.
bad as 50
Right.
Cent.
So
Worth twice as much easily.
yeah, the cousin. So he's like, yo, I'm robbing a Loxley. This is my land, and the sheriff's cousin here. He doesn't reveal yet that that title ain't worth shit anymore. But he's like, these guys just fucking kill him. And Robin's like, well, too bad I have all your crossbows. Pow, pow, pow. And then, he's like sword fighting a bunch of these guys. Azim's still praying, taking his sweet time to get here. And then finally he like tackles the sheriff's cousin off the horse and puts the sword to him and, like tells him to get the fuck out of here. So they
This
all
is my land.
yeah. And he's like, get off my land. And the boy like climbs down. He's like, did you actually kill a king's deer? He's like, I've killed hundreds of king's deer, and runs off.
You want one?
So, just point of order, you are right. He is in The Crow, but he was top dollar.
Top dollar. Okay.
Top dollar makes more sense than Dollar Bill.
He was in Nope recently. Oh, that's good for him.
So just want to take a moment and mourn the loss of that tree because I don't know if you had heard, but some jerkwad did actually just cut the whole thing down because he sucks dicks.
It was
The
a cool
tree in the movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't.
He knew that it was that tree.
It is a cool tree.
It was a cool tree.
So
Wow.
now we we follow the sheriff's cousin who goes back to the castle and interrupts the sheriff who's in the middle of a sexual assault. And
Like you do.
the woman's like she puts like whatever, like I think she just had like a sheet over her, or that might have been her dress, but she like pulls it back up over her shoulder. He's like, "No one told you to cover up." And you know, the cousin here, he's like,
It was
yeah,
at
he
that moment we realized we were in for a wild ride.
Oh yeah. So he's like, Robin Hood's back. Well, Robin of Locksley's back. He beat up like me and my men. I barely got out of there. This is a big deal. And the sheriff's like, oh, he's a bitch. And we see there's a hole in the wall. There's a little peeping Tom watching the sheriff molester this girl. And she like rings some kind of bell to summon him. And here's where we meet Mortiana the Gross. She's got like heterochromia in her eyes. She's got she's real old. The camera is always like super zoomed on her face. Possibly not quite with a fisheye lens, but with a different than normal lens. So she looks friggin' weird.
She's got the fingernails of that the guy from Big Trouble in Little China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's close to a fisheye lens, and it seems to be hereditary because it's just her, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and his cousin.
You know why? Because they're all bulbous.
Because they are all bulbous.
Sure.
Yeah. Gotta get bulbous eye lens.
So she's like, check it out, prophecy time. Let's do some divination. You know, we're into the old ways here. We're not into that God bullshit.
It's a different God.
Yeah. You know, they never really, clarify what the old ways are, other than like, we do a lot of things that are gross. And she foresees her death. It's a painted man. Painted man's got to get killed.
Kill them
And,
both.
yeah,
Robin and the Painted Man.
Yeah, before Richard the Lionheart gets back. So now Robin goes back to his castle. It's trashed. Brian Blessed is all decrepit and hanging from a gibbet.
He reminded me of somebody from Hellraiser. I can't remember which one.
I believe that would be Butterball.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Duncan now doesn't have eyes. Robin sees him and he's like, why didn't you get my dad down? Just starts shaking the shit out of him.
Nazim,
like,
the gentleman.
Yeah.
It's like,
Dude,
bro.
look at him. He's got no eyes.
He's just like, all I can do is smell him, and it's terrible.
No excuse to be lazy, you stupid bitch.
But yeah, that's so funny. Like, look at him. He's blind. Like, he sounds fucking old. Like, what do you want him to do?
So,
And this dude's like 80 years old.
Yeah, he does not look like he's in the kind of shape to be climbing up the side of a castle and pulling down a giant dead body. All right.
So now they bury him, and Robin, over his grave, he takes a blood vow to, get his revenge. And he's like, Duncan, grab the other end of the stick, and leads
Don't
him
give him the
to
stick.
Peter's home, which is the
Where's the sticks?
House of Dubois.
Where he leaves his ass. Or should, anyway.
He like knocks on the door. Some woman throws the door up and is like, no more beggars. She's like, all right, come in, but no weapons. And
Just you.
they do the old switcheroo where
No weapons? What about this cock?
well, so that's what Costner's, he's got that ready. He's like, oh, I'm gonna give it to her. And then sees Marion, and it's Marion's handmaiden. And he's like, oh, he tries to like say like, the years have been kind to you.
She's a large lady.
Let's just say
Uh-huh.
Robin Hood could not put his hands together if he hugged her.
I'm pretty sure he would not survive that romantic encounter.
No.
I think she would snoo him into the ground.
But also, let's just say Robin wasn't having it because he couldn't get a boner.
No,
That's
she's a powerful woman
And
here.
if he did, he couldn't get it past her thighs.
okay.
And so now Marion, for whatever
No
reason,
gap there, ladies and gentlemen.
Maid Marion has donned her like Black Knight garb. She's like taking a page out of
Zorro.
what's that the movie where
Medieval Times restaurant and show.
well yeah, but the one
Zelda
kid in King
Rock
Arthur's
Radio
court where remember where
I don't want to talk about that.
what the hell was her name? The chick Rose from Titanic
CD player.
was in her own like knight garb.
Oh yeah. Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, yeah. So anyway,
she was in that.
takes a page out of Kate Winslet's book.
I forgot we watched that.
And decides, she's going to remove Robin by force. Robin's like, Don't point a sword at me. I'll fuck you up. And they have a little tussle.
She rolls all of her 20s during this sequence.
It's a good
For the
thing
rest
Sean
of the
Connery
movie.
wasn't there.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's-
So
oh, you want
He's
to fight?
unaware it is a lady
Slap the
that he's
bitch. Yep.
fighting.
Yeah.
Sure.
and he throws her around the room. She gets in a lot of good hits though. And then he like pins her against the wall when she has a dagger, and he's trying to like get the dagger out of her hand, and he can't. So he's like, "Just put your hand in this candle." But he hears like a womanly scream, so he like pulls her hood off, and it's
Sir,
Maid
what's wrong with your
Marian, and
voice?
he's like, "Whoa!" And she knees him right in the crotch.
Pulls his hood off.
Yeah, and like,
Knees him right in his crotch as soon as he popped a bone.
yep. Oh yeah, he's like right in my erection. And he's just like, "Hey, Maid Marian." And like at the first sign of trouble, Nazim just smashed that door down. Or Azim, I keep calling him Nazim. But anyway,
Zima, sorry.
so now they're talking. Marian's like, "I'm pissed because you were like a little boy when you left. You used to burn my hair. You're a twat. I don't remember enjoying you very much, and you're here to protect me. Get the
trying
fuck
to
out of
enjoy
here."
me.
You can't replace my brother.
Yeah.
The land sucks right now, but you can't help make it any better. Also, here's the sheriff's guys are coming back. And now Azim's like, "All right, check it out. I got some lenses. I don't know from where. I got this leather tube. I got a
He
telescope."
prepares for travel. He
Yeah,
has
he did,
everything he needs.
Yeah.
He's got a carpet.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
A dick and a heart.
He's got a,
No, that's what
the
all
lens
Robin Hood needs.
and the leather thing. He's got his gigantic ass sword. He's
He's
kind of
got
like
his-
from Final Fantasy.
He's ready to give a horse a C-section. Like he's
Yeah.
prepared for everything. He's
Yes.
like, we need to make
well,
black
that's because
powder.
he got it
That's
pregnant
fine.
in the first place. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but,
Well,
you know,
that's just Norse mythology.
like, gotta get this man horse baby out of here before anyone notices. So anyway,
Better than a man.
so he hands this off to
We can't be birthing any centaurs here in the forest.
he hands this off to Robin. It's like
It's not very good, Morgan. For
the spyglass has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Probably not on this scale, but like Robin looks through that and he's just like, "Whoa!" Gets his sword out and he's like trying to align it like they're gonna just ride onto it. It's like even if they were right in front of you, are they flying? Like you're up on a like a castle rampart. And yeah, so then Azim's like, "How did your people conquer Jerusalem?"
Yeah.
And then
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'll warn you now, us white folk have a way of falling upward.
so
Prepare for that shit for years to come.
he's like, he goes to Marion. He's like, "I'm going to protect you from these guys." Marion's like, "Get the fuck out of here." So he's like, "Fine, I'm going to steal your horses then."
I'll burn
Okay.
your other hand.
Which does give her a valid excuse to be like, "He's stealing our horses." So they ride off. Now we have a little horse chase. They shoot Kevin Costner's horse in the ass with a crossbow. The other horse has Azim and Duncan on it. They're like, "We're never going to outrun them. We have to go into Sherwood Forest." Duncan's like,
Herbert
it's
Forest.
haunted. The sheriff's men are like, "Oh, it's haunted. We're not going in there." And they wuss out. So they get away.
Well, and the Kurgan is just like, your father.
Sounds like the guy from the G.I. Joe PSAs that throws the kid in
That
the
guy is a
refrigerator.
far cry from the Kurgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they find out the ghosts are wind chimes, but Azim's like, "But the forest still has eyes," whatever that means. Let's go ford this river.
I mean, somebody's watching us.
Well, I get that, but
We already saw the peephole earlier.
yeah. So they're crossing the river. Christian Slater shows up, pulls a rope, trips Robin, sings a little song about it. And now, like, all these guys come out and they're like, "You got to give us that cool locket." And Robin's like, "This locket's sacred to me." And, this big dude with a huge beard, this, like,
Hagrid-looking motherfucker.
No, he looks like Moses.
Moses-looking motherfucker.
He looks like Charlton Heston as Moses.
He's like, "All right, I'll quarterstaff battle you for this fucking thing." And they're like, "Fine, we'll do that." And he just beats his ass, knocks him down the waterfall, and he's like, "All right, my old cocker, you want another good walloping?" I was like, "Well, there's my opening line right there." And so, Robin comes back, he wins a little bit, and he's like, John Little, I'll call you Little John. And they're like, oh, shit.
Come on, he
He
looks
said the
just like
thing.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, he does
as
look like
Moses.
Charlton Heston. So now he
Yep.
basically, he's like, I'm bigger than you. I'm better at fighting with a quarterstaff than you. I just knocked you down a waterfall.
Got a bigger gap in my teeth.
Yeah, I guess you're just dead because I can't find you, and this water is real filthy. So,
Also, you're a soldier.
So he becomes
Can't
the
fight.
Black Panther.
well, you can't probably, isn't as good with a quarterstaff as this man that has probably been fighting with the staff, his whole life. But anyway, he instead like pops out of the water like a submarine behind Little John, just right between his legs, like bah, 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 bah.
Like fucking Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, just
Like
destroys
Battleship.
this guy's groin, throws him in the water, and now he's like dunking him, and the guy's like, I can't swim, and it's like, well, you shouldn't quarterstaff battle people over a waterfall, you
Yeah,
jackass.
that's pretty
Good point.
He's like, yield. So Little John yields. So he's like, all right, just put your feet down. And he's like, God damn it, it's like 3 feet of water.
Moron.
Yeah, how do you not know?
Oh, I almost drowned in that.
Yeah, but you're
So
Like a baby drowning in a bucket.
Guys,
If you
I
are-
was young when
guys,
that
too soon. Too soon.
if you're afraid of
Matthew
water,
Perry's
though,
not even cold in the
oh
ground.
Jesus, dude.
Oh, is that how he drowned?
He drowned in his hot tub.
I did
In
not
his
know
hot
that.
tub.
We,
Okay. Rest in peace, Chandler. Moving on.
Yeah.
If you are afraid of water and afraid of drowning, you'll be surprised what shit you won't recognize.
well, yeah. I mean, I understand most of that, and like and if you can't swim any kind of water like that,
Yeah.
you're gonna be afraid. But like, he's a big motherfucker. He's probably already touching the ground.
Yeah. Plus, Robin Hood was also dunking him under the
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
and shaking him around. So
Disorienting.
he's, yeah.
And we saw that, like, when he finally stands up, it's like not even up to his knees, So like that means when he got dunked under, his head was against rock
Well,
or sediment.
it's-
Yeah,
It's
that'll
not
make
like-
you forget where you are real quick.
Well,
It's not like it's a floor. It's uneven. And I did actually notice when he has him stand up, they move back. And I'm like, it was deeper where they were doing that.
There's a
I think
curve
that
in
was
this.
not necessarily like
All right.
intended
whatever.
to be.
Robin pulled a
yeah.
fast one on him.
Yeah,
like-
it's fine.
He failed his break test. So now they go back to like their shanty town in the forest. He's like, here's my friend Bull. He's like, they call me a bull because I'm real long, and he just attempts to take his dick out.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yo, whoa.
Save it for the
Whoa.
ladies.
Yeah.
yeah, Robin Hood's like, whoa, we're trying to keep this PG, all right?
Yeah.
Come on.
My temper's short, but my cock is long.
So now they
He did look like a midgetized Andre the Giant.
He
Yeah,
did.
yes.
He
Yeah.
looked like the littlest Lou Ferrigno.
he's just a regular sized beastly man. Like,
He was not regular sized at all.
Actually, he would possibly be a good casting for what is the German blue guy from
the
the
German
X-Men.
blue guy.
Yeah,
Colossus?
honey, I
No,
shrunk the
Beast?
German blue guy.
Not even Beast.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, yeah. I could see him as
Oh,
Nightcrawler.
what?
No.
No, okay. Why?
No.
Why?
All right.
Just no, move on. Move
Anyway,
on.
Robin's like, hey, you guys should probably, fight the sheriff. And they're like, the sheriff, with all that, he has like legions of Celts he could call upon and
Well, they
like
didn't-
tons of
they didn't know about
catapults
that.
and all that.
They're like, he's got a lot of
Yeah.
money and power. And
Well,
he's
yeah,
like
but,
weapons and
We're just
fighters.
farmers.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
professional fighting force.
So
Yeah,
he's
we're
like,
a
well,
handful of schmucks.
I could train you guys with like courage and stuff, and we'll just worry about, their extreme advantage in industrial output and training and weaponry.
And fear
worry
over the
about
civilian
numbers.
All
population.
that later.
All that,
Yeah.
Financing and numbers and
We'll
So-
worry about all that when it shows up on our front door.
Yeah.
And the dark side of the force.
So, now, like, he wakes up the next day and he sees just how shitty the lodgings are here. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go to church. And he leaves before Azim can even wake up. And so the sheriff also has to go to church because he has to
The
pretend.
other church.
Yeah, he has to keep up appearances. And then he goes and he takes the cross that's at this altar full of God knows what. They're like eating like raw animal parts and not even like meat, like viscera or
Yeah.
whatever. And
it's
I don't
just
think it was meat. I think it was rib bone.
he's just gnawing on bones.
He was gnawing on a riblet.
It's all yeah.
either way, like he takes the cross, turns it upside down, And
No,
then-
it was upside down.
It was.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
side
turned it
up.
He
right
turns
side
it back
up.
side
Okay.
up.
No,
It is-
and then
kinda-
back upside
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of like that part because, he's like, I got to go to church and pretend like I'm a good
Yeah.
Christian, but we're here worshiping Satan or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I like, he's just like, sometimes, and he flips it over and flips it back. Like, I can't really tell. I like, none of this means
So-
shit to me. Is basically his point.
I do remember in the theatrical cut, all of this was skipped over.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like,
Yeah.
no, we're not having any of this pagan bullshit.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't, yeah, in the beginning when he's in the white robes and the mask, you're like, what the fuck's happening here? And then it's like, shh.
He's Druish.
Yeah. She doesn't look Druish. So,
Wow.
Marion's also at church, and like the bishop at church, he's just like, oh, the sheriff, he's so cool. His cock's the biggest. He's
I
going
know
to
firsthand.
guide this country to prosperity through the strength of his erection. And the sheriff's not even like, look how cool I am. He's just flagrantly like looking over at Marion like,
Like, hey, yo.
See, the bishop thinks I'm cool.
How you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm gonna lick you when you're
Marion's
asleep.
like, I'm gonna look anywhere but here.
Does this sermon make you randy?
No,
So-
this is really inappropriate.
Robin comes by and he finds Marion, as she's kneeling by some candles later on, and she smells him and is just like, ugh, and then tells him like, the sheriff's making some kind of army for some reason, and he whatchamacallit, he's got to look out for that. Also, he's got to go take a bath. So Robin's like, all right, I got to go meet the bishop. I'm out of here. Then the sheriff shows up and he's like, hey, Marion, it's dangerous. You should have a dagger. I don't know why. Alan Rickman is playing this actually really cool. I don't know why I'm using that
we
voice.
learned about
Well,
the
he's playing him
loaves
cool
and
enough
fishes today.
that you want to insult the character.
I'll supply the loaf
Yeah.
if you supply the fish, if you know what I mean.
If you're going alone, it's dangerous out there. You should take one of these.
Yeah.
This is a
Hands are a
proxy for
dagger.
my dagger.
Tiny ass dagger.
I've handed you a phallic symbol. But
Put it
yeah,
in your
the sheriff's
bosom.
like, it's not safe. You should stay in the castle with me. And
Join me and invent Rule 34 together.
so
No, that was the Disney version.
yeah, basically, he's making advances towards her. And meanwhile, the bishop is just talking to Robin. He's like, oh, your dad, heretic, just so bad.
Just
like,
the worst.
I asked him 3 times, like, do you believe in God? And he was like, no, apostasy, man, that's the way to go.
He didn't even say that. He
No.
just said, I can't die with
With a
Yeah.
clean conscience or
Unclean
something.
He had
like
to
that.
confess, yeah. So Robin's like, you fucking liar. I'm going to leave. And he throws open the door, and the sheriff and his cousin are standing right there. And there's enough of a pause where you can hear the D20s rolling for initiative.
and everyone fails.
Yeah.
I could also hear the brass section queuing up yakety sax.
Robin just fucking like draws a dagger from his belt, cuts the sheriff across his cheek, and like slams the door closed. Does a little swashbuckly move where he rides the chandelier.
I attack it.
The sheriff
Well, yeah, no,
screams
he's
so
like-
hard.
Hey, father, you know what the best part about being a thief is? Surprise attack!
And the sheriff just breaks down. He was like, I was not expecting Robin to be on the other side of that door, and I was not expecting to get cut. So
You've blemished me.
he's like, Robin, I'll cut your heart out with a spoon. It's just awesome the way he says that. And Robin's like, so it begins. And then he's just up and like yeah, he's up in like a bell tower or something up there. Like I don't know where he goes from there. He just gets out and he's on a horse now. And
He just jumps off the roof.
the sheriff's like he comes sliding by, and the sheriff throughout this whole movie has terrible footwear. So he just comes sliding across the church floor, slaps this one dude on the way, and then like
For no reason.
takes off running, and he's like, close the gates, and the gate guard's like, do what now? And Robin steals this like satchel full of food, and he's just twirling it like a flail, and the gate guard's like, who's this guy? Robin just fucking wails him with like, with supper, essentially.
It's a sack full of bread. It's got a chicken in it, a wheel of cheese.
Yeah. All of these things are probably like stale and hardened.
True.
And so just knocks this
And
guy
have
down.
chicken
like-
shit on them.
Yeah.
He's also on a horse, so
Yep.
like the combined momentum of all of that, like it's also going to surprise the hell out of you.
But the real thing, this guard is essentially like that one kid that's out in left field and like the baseball coming, like, I caught it, I got it, and then gets hit in the face with it. That's basically this guard.
By the time he figured out what was going on, he gets whaled by a feed bag. Then, like, Robin's just gone. And now, as he just gets up from that, being like, did I just get hit by dinner? The sheriff runs over and just starts throwing punches right in this dude's face, like, over and over again.
Like through the helmet.
Yeah, and the physical comedy in this scene is great. He punches this dude.
That's the soldier that had the bent nose guard
Yup.
on his helmet
Yup.
for the rest of the movie.
He punches him like 5 or 6 times, and then the soldier just collapses on the sheriff's cape, so he like rips the trim off of it, and like that part made me laugh.
Oh yeah. He did a really good job portraying exasperated anger.
Yeah, that's what I was when you said he slapped that guy for no reason. Like, he had a reason. He got cut. And didn't get to fuck somebody up yet. So there you go.
It wasn't that person.
It doesn't matter.
That's the point where
You
I
were
was
there.
like, oh, this is a silly movie?
In his mind,
You could
yes.
call it slapstick.
I mean, in my mind, like,
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, like, it's the director was not like, we're making a comedy, but Alan Rickman's like, I'm making this a comedy.
I'm making a comedy.
I have declared this to be a comedy.
He's like, all
We're
right,
gonna
Kevin
make it a good one.
Costner is doing the bare minimum he
Oh, yeah,
needs
not
just to
even.
get through a scene.
he had
So
an
he's like,
accent for about 10 minutes.
ergo,
not
I get
even.
to do twice as much because he's not doing anything.
I will say, I don't know if this is in his defense exactly, but from what I read, Kevin Costner, he was doing this movie or whatever, so he hired a accent coach, whatever.
Fired them.
Well, probably.
He
but
only paid their first paycheck.
Basically the deal was when he showed up, they were like, yeah, we don't want you to do an accent. He's like, no, I got this, and tried something, and they were like, holy God,
you
no,
don't
you're
have
not doing
this.
an accent. So like this was again part of that argument where it was like Kevin Costner kept trying to kind of sneak it in there, but they had to keep being like, all right, we're gonna do this again. Don't do that shit. So
Just act like you're half asleep. Come on.
It's like all of Musk's companies having an entire department doing nothing but manage him.
So,
Okay.
Robin comes back. He distributes dinner to all the forest men here, and he tries to like rally them to fight or whatnot. And they're all just like, "Yeah, they're gonna kill us." And then it cuts to the sheriff. He's getting his his cut stitched, and his cousin's like, "Why a spoon? Why not like an axe or a knife?" And he's like, "'Cause it's dull and it'll hurt more, you twit." And then he looks at the doctor and he's like, "So make the stitches tiny." And then he gets called to talk to whatever the spooky lady is. She's like, "Yeah, he's got to die before the Barons come back." And I thought they said come back in like a week, but apparently not, because like months go by.
This shit is just ridiculous
Yeah.
at this point. These characters, they're hammered. Like, I'm expecting, like, the witch shows up and I'm expecting, like, Rita Repulsa from the fucking Power Rangers.
close enough.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, the putties. And then, like, all the sheriff's men just turn giant for no reason.
they have to form the Robin Hood Zord.
Yeah. Before the Robin Hood Zord out of wood and, like, horses and shit.
I would argue they tried to do that, but instead we got a Northman, I think, or whatever, or a Kilt,
So
But now,
Celts,
like,
but
or
yeah.
was it Kilt?
if there was a Robin
That
Hood
makes more sense, I guess.
Voltron, Little John would obviously be one of the legs, but who would be the other leg? Because he's tall.
Friar Tuck.
Yeah.
And the other leg would just be a mead barrel. Or it'd be like 2 mead barrels with like Friar Tuck's face in the middle as the kneecap.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Someone draw that, please. Anyway, So now the sheriff just unleashes his soldiers on a rampage on the countryside. They like burn villages down and, steal a bunch of crap. And so now all the villagers who get displaced because their homes are wrecked, they arrive in the forest and they're talking shit to Robin. They're like, yo, now this, the sheriff's taking, your little escapades, he's taking it out on us.
Yeah.
So thanks. And Robin's like, nah, all you need is courage and, you'll be fine. Will's like, I'm going to fucking stab you. And he pulls out a knife and tries to come at Kevin Costner. And, he turns around, takes his bow, shoots an arrow through Will's hand. And Will's just like, all right, I'll leave, and just walks off with a fucking arrow going through his hand.
Oh, you got the message.
Yeah. And so, Kevin's like, all you need is just courage, treatment for an arrow wound, the power of freedom, and a good montage, and we'll be fine.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
From personal experience, that is actually a realistic, reasonable reaction to just walk away. Because surprisingly, it doesn't hurt as much as you'd think to have an arrow shot through your hand, as long as it misses the bone.
Yeah.
I had a table saw accident where that basically happened. It didn't go all the way through my hand, but I was like, what the fuck? It was my finger that had broken from the other one and started bleeding profusely.
I think it was also called shock. But
well, that delayed me going into a full-blown panic attack, but that was mostly because of the blood.
Okay, well, where I was going is, unlike what a lot of 90s movies like Braveheart and whatnot would lead you to believe, you do need more than courage, freedom, and a montage to suddenly be able to defeat a professional army.
A length of rope.
Also a length of rope.
not in a movie.
Not in a movie. So, yeah, So now, like, they start training. You see them slowly getting better. Suddenly, they're like getting metal from somewhere. I guess they found a mine in the forest. They're making all these bows and whatnot.
They're actually collecting the garbage that people are throwing they're going through.
They found an iron
Sherwood Forest. They're recycling the cans.
I guess this was before the time of like the Welsh longbow, but like they got good at archery fast. Because again, like a movie would have you believe, learning a bow is easy. You just need a montage.
I mean, they were 5 feet away from the target.
Yeah, I guess.
And there's no TV.
Well,
I would imagine it's probably a bigger
and they
factor.
would likely all be passingly familiar with archery because
hunting.
that's the only way they have.
Yeah, if they're hunters, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've held a bow. It's just the first time they've done it well.
Sometime around. Well, no, the Crusades are done. It's during the 100 Years' War where they start making archery practice mandatory so that everybody grows up to be able to become an archer. But anyway, now they begin their own little rampage here to counter the soldiers' rampage. They rob like a cart. They steal some lady's ring. Robin makes her heart swoon. They stop soldiers from stealing
use
shit.
Mistletoe. He's learning already.
He just used raw Kevin Costner. And the sheriff has a nice little freak out. He runs into the witch's room and just like takes a knife and like stabs like all the meat on a platter, and she's like, something vexes thee.
If you rob them, they will come. Eh?
And now he's like giving food back to the nobles. I'm back, not to the nobles, to the commoners.
Sorry, I took
Sorry,
these guys. Here you
Yeah,
go.
you're-
I understand you're super triggered and you're dealing with past trauma.
So
Here's
that-
the money.
Alan Rickman just kills it in this next scene because now he's talking to his scribe, and he's like, he can't understand why the poor love Robin. He's like, they make me hurt them by supporting him, and they love him for it. And the scribe starts talking, and he like slaps the wine glass at him, so the guy's just covered in liquid. And then he's like, it doesn't matter what price you put on his head, the people aren't going to turn him in. And he's like, he finds out they hit like another cart or something. He's like, cancel kitchen scraps for lepers and orphans, no more merciful beheadings, and cancel Christmas. He storms off, and he sees he had a brand new statue made of himself. Somebody put a scar on it. He's freaking out about that, like yelling about some other shit. And then there's two ladies, like his two members of his harem, are just kind of sitting there doing something else. And he's like, my room, 10:30. You 1045, bring a friend.
You 1048.
And
That's
then,
what I
I
thought
start
was
losing
going to be the
steam right
opening
about
quote.
then.
And then what you call it? The scribe
You
like
bring
gives
a cum bucket.
Oh,
that will already be there.
that's what the scribe's other job is.
That's what the
So-
1030 was.
The scribe sticks his tongue out at the sheriff, which turns out to be a horrible mistake because immediately in the next scene, the witch is like, "Cut out that scribe's tongue," and
Thankfully, it grows back. Very.
Well, it takes a couple of scenes.
now it's Friar Tuck time, and Friar Tuck's just riding along in his cart,
He's just fat and loud.
fat and loud. Yep,
Like you could tell this was
Drunk.
this is probably written for Chris Farley.
he is just Chris Farleying it.
Yeah.
And they have a nice little plan here. Well, first off, I like the little bit of dialogue where they're Robin counts like 20 men, and he tells Bull, it's like, it's like 5. And they're like, no, it's like 20. And he's like, Bull can't count.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. Him and this one guy.
Besides, why scare him?
Yeah, they set up a nice little trick here where they're like acting like they're moving a log across a road, and the sheriff's cousin and like all the other horsemen see him, and they're like, "Let's get those motherfuckers!" And they run into some prepared like drop platforms that basically blend them into the forest floor, and the horsemen ride by. Meanwhile, turns out the entire hedgerow that like the cart's next to is a lie. It just drops down. There's like a million bowmen there. Just kill all of the guards with a fusillade of arrows. And then they're like they steal the 2 carts and
Hide
don't-
all the bodies underneath the blankets covered
yeah,
in leaves.
that's true. They hide the bodies. They steal the
Totally
carts.
poofed it.
Everything's gone. So when the sheriff's cousin comes back, just nothing.
There's a helmet on the ground. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So how do they prevent the horses from running over the tarps that they've thrown over themselves?
No, I
They
think
lose
they
a lot
just
of men that way.
Yeah.
No, I thought they took the horses with them.
Well, no, the horses
There
that
are
were
more
chasing
horses.
the first 2 guys.
More
Yeah.
horses exist.
There was a definite like risk of them being run over.
They did dive to the side, but
Yeah.
they
also-
could have been run over.
Yeah, they also, I will say, they also seem to be closer to like trees most of the time, it seems, so probably less likely where you would bring your horse. But yeah, it's a very real possibility. A couple people got trampled that way.
Don't come over here. There's poison
The more I saw those 2 acting
Yep.
in cohorts with each other, I was like, "Hey, Beak,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
is
Robin's
that who you
trying.
base them on?"
No, I'm pretty sure Robin's just trying to get those 2 killed. So, either way,
Rob's looking confused. So there was a character in Joe's game. Their catchphrase was "Hey, Beak," and they were like those, exactly.
You
like
think
those.
this film from 1991 stole from Joe's?
No,
game?
I think that's what he based
I did not.
those 2
Oh,
characters
you think
on.
Joe stole from
Yes.
Robin Hood?
Inspired
Men
by.
in the Woods.
Nope, he stole.
It's,
All right,
it's
moving
their
on.
kind of stuff.
Yep,
Men of Thieves.
it's not, but I'll explain later. So,
Thieves of Princes.
either way, there's a scene was taken out of the theatrical cut that I don't understand, where they're in a wagon, and I guess there's guards in the wagon or something, where Robin's like, "Put your weapons down and you won't be harmed,"
You
or
have
something.
my word.
And I think they're trying to like stick a sword out of the cart at them or something. So Azim's like, "Fuck you, I'm out of here," and just jumps onto the horses and unhooks the wagon and leaves. And Robin's like, "Well, what am I gonna do?" And then he jumps off the wagon, and the wagon just careens off the road and launches into a river. And and then it just cuts to something else. And you're like,
yeah.
"What just happened?"
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the guys that were in that wagon guarding the treasure are drowned.
Yeah, they
I
drowned.
guess,
It's fine.
but they have the treasure, so
They
they're
turned into treasure.
And Azim
That's
is
it.
going to save his life or take it, apparently. I don't know.
it's like in a video game. They just became coins.
Became coins. Yeah.
And so now they have this treasure chest full of treasure, and they have this friar, and Robin's like, "Hey, why don't you share some ale with us?" And he's like, "How about I just kick you in the goddamn
Yeah.
face?"
How about I'm a drunk and
Yeah.
no,
Kicks him right in the mouth and
not a generous drunk either.
tries to ride the cart away from, this forest hideout. Like, where's he gonna go? Bonks his head on a branch, falls off the cart. Carts just rides off without him, and
That
now
was the saddest bonk
Yep.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
By the way,
You could
like,
tell that it hit its back
Oh yeah,
first.
he hit it like way in advance, and then it was like, oh, just fall.
Well, it also, like, that was the weakest thinnest branch ever. Like, and it clearly had give, so there's no way it was taking him down.
No, oh no, like
But-
diabetes is gonna take that guy way faster than that tree ever would.
I do love though that he sits up and Robin comes over and he's like, "Do you yield?" And he's like, "I'd rather burn in hell." Just starts gnawing on his leg.
He was gonna gnaw on his leg either way.
Yes, they had to liberally apply the boots to him to get him to let go.
It's how he shows affection, guys. Just let him go.
Robin was like, "Shoot him!"
Yeah.
Shoot
Other people are like,
her!
"He's a man of God."
Shoot her!
So they make him pull the cart back, like they have like the horse tack on
Yoke him
him.
like an ox.
Yeah. And so he's like, "Thank you for teaching me humility. I guess I'll stay here and, be a friar. I'll do the religious shit for your
I'll
your
teach
village."
your men about beer.
Let me yell at this other guy.
So now the sheriff's cousin comes back and he's like, "So, you're like, don't fuck up." Fucked up in like the worst way possible. Basically, everyone's dead but me. The treasure's gone.
The
It's
ale is gone.
Just
Or
total disaster.
Yeah.
even
tried.
even the friar's gone. He's like, "I tried really hard." He's like, "It's okay. It's fine. I'm just gonna run you through
Yeah.
with this, cool Spanish steel." I
Like,
guess.
he was feeling him up first to make sure he wasn't wearing armor. He's like, let me just grab your tummy to make sure it's all clear, and then I'm gonna just slowly
And that you're not
push
a
this
woman.
into you.
I didn't even think about that.
Just murders a family member in front of all the blacksmiths, and they're all concerned. And he's like, "This is good steel. This is good." And he takes it with him. He's like, "I'm keeping this."
It make a good weapon.
Heads
Well
back to
done.
his room. So now we get like a who's on first with Bull and this other like really derpy looking woodsman.
Hey, Beak.
Yeah, and they're like, what do we do? And they're like, "You get the one on the left. What's left?" Like these two should totally be doing missions on their own together.
You take the ugly one. Which one's the ugly one? You guys are the ugly one.
Robin's like, they don't know what left is, but somehow they keep finding their way back to camp. God damn it.
Damn it.
Maid Marian and her attendant here, they just beat their ass, take them, put like a knife to their throat, and they're like, you show us the way. We got to see Robin. And so they come back and they burst in on Robin in his swimming hole, get that Costner ass.
That
And-
white farmer's tan.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It was,
Gets so
it was
blinded.
the shiniest white ass
Mm-hmm.
I've seen in a long time.
You really have been in prison for years.
And I've seen a
Reflect the
lot of
laser with
asses.
that.
He's an Englishman.
So, but an Englishman like wouldn't have the rest of the tan. It would just be a whole pale disaster. Maybe the arms and legs.
He'd be like a white koi swimming in that,
Yeah.
that swimming hole.
and the white filter of the camera in 1991 would not be able to record it properly. So now Maid Marian's seen that. She's like, "All right, I like what I see." And Kevin Costner's like, "Check it out what I did here. It's like Endor. There's freaking, it's a tree city. There's rope bridges. They're like, people
Little
are
bear
swinging on
children.
crap. Yeah, they're like, they have elevators. They got like a bucket system that's bringing water up.
And forcing it just back down again. It's the same system, I assume.
I really don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be. I mean, I know like the implication is perhaps some kind of irrigation or something,
No,
but
it's like I said, it's a Swiss Family Robin Hood, and it's a go nowhere water elevator.
it really is.
Yeah, like presumably it would bring all your wash water and cooking water up into the trees, but it does look like it's just going right back down.
Yeah, because it just pours it onto a ramp that,
That-
just looks like it goes.
That
straight
might have
back
just
down.
been the proof of concept. Like they're
Yeah.
like, okay, this part works. Now we'll build the system to
Sure.
use it.
But even if that was the thing, just have like little like buckets or something to put those vases of water in, because that would be more usable if you wanted to switch it out for something else.
This was Azim's idea.
I
I've already
think-
made it clear to him I prefer golden showers.
Yeah, presumably I think it would go to a cistern or whatever. But anyway, so what you call it? Now he's like, you gotta. Marion tells him that the sheriff, he's bribing all the king's enemies. He's got these other barons that are going to help him. He's like, check out all this treasure I stole. You know how we're supposed to be like giving this to the poor? Yeah, nope. And he's like, so she's like, I got to go. He's like, well, stay for dinner. Oh, but she's like, I got this dagger here that I really don't want. He's like, no, that's fine. You should keep it. She's like, nope, and just throws it in the treasure.
Cheers.
And that dagger will be important later. But now it cuts to nightfall. It's celebration time. It's dinner time. You got this little girl comes up to Azim and is like, did God paint you? And Tony's bracing for impact. And, Azim's like, well,
Like, yes.
Yes, he for sure did.
Yes.
Allah likes variety. And then Friar Tuck swoops in and he's like, don't talk that blasphemy.
Fuck variety.
Girl, don't listen to him.
No, Azim is like, isn't our God the same God like Abraham? And he's like, don't you science me.
Yeah, don't try to deceive me.
Don't twist my mind.
I mean, it's not, but there's nuance there. That
Yeah.
Whatever. We're not going to get into right now. And
Close enough.
the movie, but
Also, then like the rest of the village was like, weren't you working for an evil dude and just a drunk bastard like 2 days ago?
yeah,
Like, what
that's
the
more.
fuck?
That's more to the point. It's like,
Yeah.
what kind of high
are
ground
you?
are you rocking?
So you tried to eat our leader's leg
Yeah, you are
like
legitimately
less than 24 hours ago.
you are too fat for any high horse to support you.
All right, so out of nowhere, turns out Little John's wife's pregnant.
I mean,
It's a good thing that happened before Robin Hood nailed him in the groin with
Yeah.
that stick.
He's
homeboy
already
don't
had.
miss. That's all. Homeboy don't miss.
That's his 8th child. He's been busy.
Yeah, he's
with
done.
everything.
He's cut off.
That's the last one.
He's like, thanks, Robin. You took care of it. So-
firing.
She's like, thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
he was thinking like, I always kind of planned myself that one day we'd have an army to take him back. Mm-hmm. So I'm slowly working on that.
Yeah.
Been practicing the pull-out method, but I pull out of her mouth and put it right in her.
Ah.
It's like the quiverfuls.
So, we get before that happens though. There's a pointless plot line where Robin tells Marion basically yeah. So my dad loved this other woman after my mom died, and I told him I was really mad, so I was like, you gotta get rid of her, and he did, and nothing's gonna come of that, and you're like, nothing better come of that. Like that's stupid.
What a man won't do for the love of a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. So. And then he ran off to do Crusades afterwards anyway.
Well, you know.
Either way.
It's all nonsense because he's mad at his dad because after his mother died, he started seeing someone else. He thought it was wrong, so he said,
Peasant
"You better."
woman.
Well, sure, maybe that played a factor. But he's like, "So you should really stop doing that." And his dad said, "Okay."
Yeah.
That's a real reason to be upset.
Then he's like, fuck you, Dad, I'm going to the Crusades.
Yeah, what? What?
So,
I killed you, Dad.
Friar Tuck, he spews some more hate. He's like, no, don't let this painted man touch your woman. He's going to fucking poison her. Your baby's going to be black somehow.
That's
Like, just that's what he would have said.
You're probably not wrong.
So,
Said, you want to cook? You want to be baking vanilla wafers, not brownies.
yeah, so he's like, get this motherfucker out of here. Like, so they do, and Azim's like, I've seen this done on a horse a couple times. I think I could do it on this woman.
Starts
And-
lubing up his forearm.
Yeah.
All right.
And
We're going in.
basically this woman through C-section gives birth to
It's
like a 6-month-old baby.
Not a season.
Not a C-section?
No, they
I don't
just
think
turned.
so.
They just turned the.
Okay.
He shoved his hand.
All right.
Just
Manipulated.
in the old swirl. Like,
He was talking about, yeah.
Swirly. Yeah,
Fair
C-
enough. He
C-section,
turned the baby
She
around.
would not have survived
Yeah.
a C-section in a grass hut in the woods.
make the stitches as small as possible.
Yeah. All right.
No, just picture
Either
him
way.
slapping her belly and the whole slowly turn.
Saves her
Who's
life,
here to help?
saves the
Mr.
baby's life.
Squirrel.
Friggin' Little John runs out of the house. Is like, look at my son. Everyone's screaming.
Throws it in the fire.
At least he didn't do it over a balcony.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was
Look at my
the
baby.
Middle Ages version of that, basically.
It's my blanket.
So now,
Like I joked, but I genuinely was like, he's gonna get about 5 feet, trip on some log, fall into the fire, and then they're both gone.
So yeah, Maid Marian and Robin have now brought new life into this world, and at this point, Will Scarlet's like, "I'm going to ask this woman for a dance," And Robin's like, get the fuck out of here. Put another arrow through your dick.
Yeah, this is not Robin Cuck. Did you not see the name of the film?
So he's dancing with her. They have a good time. Next day, they part ways, through a boat ride. Tells her to take Duncan because he's too fucking old and he smells bad. And also
You
send
want me to leave you, sir?
I mean, old people smell bad. That's just how it is.
Especially.
I can't find the wash water
Yeah, okay.
and no one will bathe me.
That is probably pretty accurate. Like, no one will bathe me, and I can't do it myself.
You know what, Duncan? You're even blind. You can still wipe your ass, dude. Like, stop. Stop.
I tried last time, but I used your cape, and you got upset.
I couldn't
And
find
then you
the
started
roll.
hitting me.
It was stolen by a bunch of cartoon bears.
So
I pooped, and I went to wipe, but it turned out to be a skunk, and he sprayed me in the face.
He
It only
savaged
got
me.
worse.
He savaged me.
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Pooping in the woods is not fun.
so they part ways. She's supposed to send a letter to warn King Richard.
It's like the Flintstones. He just uses a saber-toothed tiger.
She
They
gives
grabbed
him
a squirrel, and it's still up there.
Yeah, well, you know, looking for nuts.
she gives Robin a little kiss before they leave. And then it cuts over to the sheriff and Mortiana. And she's like, he asks her for like another reading to see if his plan is still going to work. And she like cuts herself, puts some blood down, and then just casually spits acid.
Yeah.
It just starts decroding the metal.
It's a gross, like you know these two are banging, and you're just like, oh,
Oh,
no.
I wasn't going there.
So she's
She's at least watching through the peephole while
Oh,
he's
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh,
like,
banging the other chick.
she's like, you gotta
She's into it. I'm not sure he is.
She's like, you got to hire the Celts. And then Mary made Marion. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'll do both those things. Marion's like, all right, I wrote this letter. I'm going to give it to the bishop. And he's like, so, Bishop, I don't know if you're on the up and up. So I know you have this courier guy here, but I'm going to send my handmaiden along so she could make sure. And he's like, are you sure? And she's like, I'm sure. They get like 10 feet out into the garden. And this guy's like, oh, look at my horse's leg. Beans her off her horse.
What was the point of this? Do we know?
What, sending the letter to King Richard?
Yeah, like
To warn him that, like,
yeah.
Yeah, let him know about the nonsense that's going on.
But
Yeah.
why was the pastor, whatever he is?
Because the
um,
bishop was
she-
already in the sheriff's
yeah, she
pocket.
trusted him to,
No, but then why was he involved?
she trusted him to
Because-
deliver the message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
But she didn't. She sent her maid
Just to make
send
sure
her.
for an extra
Just send
level
her.
security.
well,
Hire a
because-
goon if you need to. Just send
because
her.
theoretically the bishop is in contact with King Richard and knows where to go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Also, it was earlier established that the bishop had been there since their childhood because Robin,
Yes.
Yeah.
the bishop knew Robin.
Oh, I got all that, but it's like, here's a message I need you to get to the king.
Yeah.
My maid's gonna go too.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why the middleman? Basically.
Yep.
But that okay.
A guide. Yep.
she would have hired a Teutonic knight or like someone in their employ or something to get it to the Middle East, but whatever.
Or
Either
a
way, the
Carpathian.
sheriff spills the beans and or not the sheriff, the bishop. So now the sheriff knows. He's meeting with the barons. They're in their like lair of evil, chanting their evil stuff. He comes in. He's like,
They're druids.
"Yeah, here's your money bags." And they're like, "This ain't enough money. I just casually spill it out on the
Yeah.
table and all over the floor."
Sorry to interrupt the circle jerk. Here's some cash.
Yeah, and then the sheriff's like, "All right, check it out. Here's how we'll divide up England. I got this map here with a big ass fucking like satanic pentagram just all over it.
Yeah.
Like, just subtle.
It's under a cloth too. It's
Yeah.
like, why is that under a cloth if you're openly?
But yeah, just the whole thing was very much like that,
It's his model. He wanted to like reveal
Oh,
it
huh.
with a,
Yeah, we're gonna tear down the kid's school and we're gonna put up this mini mall. Like it had that thing, or like this is the OC.
Oh, Sean Hannity.
No, whatever fucking RoboCop, like that city they wanted to build. Like it's just here's our model we made.
So
What is this? A school for
Oh, the
ants?
pentagram. Yeah.
You Celts are gonna love this shit.
So I love the silliness of this scene because the parents are like, "Yo, this isn't the money that you said we'd have. Like, what are we gonna do?" And Sheriff Nottingham's like, "Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring in the silliest looking Celt chieftain into the room, and he's just gonna burn himself and not care." And they're like, "That's not bags of money, but at the same time, I don't want that man to beat me to death." So
With that burning log.
yeah.
But did you see what was going on in the background?
Well, which part?
Like, so at the very end of that scene.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Oh my hand."
In the background, he's like, "Oh fuck, why did I do that?"
Yeah, that's right. He can only like hold it back for so.
Well, when the woad wears off.
Yeah. Yep. So, now the sheriff's like, "All right, now that I've taken care of that, I'm going to dispatch my soldiers to go kidnap Marion and all the people in her household." The
I need to
blind
get
guy
married.
somehow hides, and we find out very quickly he somehow hid from everyone because everyone was just like, "Just stand here and watch what the blind guy does." So
I imagine because he was locked in like a tool shed because he thought it was the toilet. That's my headcanon.
So either way, he thinks he's going to sneak off, and he thinks everyone is left, and he's just going to go find Robin, and he needs the horse to do it. And like the guys are like, "Look at this asshole! Let's just follow him. Just follow him home." So now Duncan shows up at Sherwood Forest. He spills the beans. He's like, "They took Marion. Also, I probably led like an army here."
And now I'm gonna die.
And it's battle time.
Somehow this killed him.
The ride there killed him
Yeah. So
Why?
because he's fucking
he's
old.
old.
He's got festering eye holes.
That's
He rode all night through some dank moors and probably didn't prepare too well for that.
there.
He also had bear traps on both of his feet from the tool shed. He blindly
He never
wandered into.
He never got to wipe either.
Yeah, he never got to wipe. There's just festering holes in his
it's
ass.
just- the horse is just like, either I'm going to kill us both, or I'm going to get you to where you need to go so you can
Again,
leave.
He's hit his head on so much shit on the way here.
Get off
Yeah,
me.
again, this gets into the problem. The biggest problem I had watching this was I kept thinking of all these jokes I wanted them to do, and I'm pretty sure are all covered in Men in Tights. But like, I wanted to see the horse either running in circles, running through like a bramble bush after bramble bush.
Legit, like riding a horse, you would think it's easier than walking, but it long term, it is an exhausting endeavor.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sure
why
it
with the
is,
scene with her handmaiden there and the courier, they were like, "Are you sure?" Like, it's a very long and arduous trip, and she's like, she's an accomplished horsewoman. Like,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's whatever, but like, he's made that trip multiple times now. I don't know why that one killed him, but whatever.
Don't get me wrong. He was attempting to do something heroic, and I should not be making fun of the blind, but he was very ill-equipped for the task, and what he did was, in the grand scheme of things, not a good idea.
Yeah, it caused more harm than good.
So now there's a Celt army just raiding on in here, and in true like British bad guy fashion, like, we have archers, we have catapults, but let's use the Celts first.
Yeah,
Just get those guys killed. That's fine.
that's what they're there for.
Yep.
So he basically uses them to just force all of the woodsmen up into their fortifications. They're up in the trees. They're shooting arrows down at them. Robin shoots this redheaded woman right in the tit. And then Azim murders like so many people with his scimitar. And finally, like by the end of it, most of them are in the trees and they're just firing straight down into these Celts. The Celts are like, "You know what? Let's leave." And so the Robin Hood's men, they're all celebrating, and then they notice that that whole section of the force is on fire. Because there's like a bajillion archers and a bunch of catapults, and now we're stuck up in these trees and everything's on fire. Shit goes south fast. They're the sheriff's just having them bombard the place, And now people have to leave the trees, and now they're getting mauled by the Celts. Robin's distracting people by just throwing treasure out, which is
effective.
That is quite effective.
Yeah.
I would, when I'm done with the treasure chest, I'd throw it down and bean someone. But Little John, he's stuck on one side of a bridge that has burned and collapsed, and his wife and child are on the other side. So Robin has to swing over there and help, and then he gets the rope back after she swings over holding the kid, and he tries to swing over, and the rope is on fire, so he falls down into the smoke, and it's just a bad time.
Yeah, he's presumed dead.
Yeah. And, that thing that everyone was like, hey, that army that has, like, all these better weapons and numbers and all that, when it finds us, what are we going to do? Turns out we die.
Yeah.
So...
They did pretty good at that, though.
Yep. Little John's other kid, Wolf, here, he does save Robin. He kills a dude with his bow, but then another dude grabs him. The sheriff, now he's like, all right, that's, part one of the plan done. Part two, let's go to church, find Maid Marian in there.
Scarlet gets nabbed as well.
Will Scarlet gets nabbed. Yep. And then he goes up to Marian. He's like, hey, recognize this letter? He's like, fuck you. He trying to rat me out. Now you got to marry me. And she's like, I'll never marry you. He's like, I'll kill so many innocent people. Look at all these innocent people I have. He brings her over the ramp.
That
These
entire
little
creche
children.
of small Padawans dead.
Oh,
Look,
murdered.
Your handmaiden,
Dead.
Well, in particular, it's like, I also want to show you your wedding gift. And like, I got you this bouquet of children. If you want me to throw it out instead, I can do it.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out right now.
I'll just burn it. I'll just burn
like,
it.
no
all.
matter-
I'll just toss it over the side of the castle here. Like,
Sacrifice
Even
it
if
to the
you
dark
acquiesce
gods.
to my demands, I'm still gonna murder the ringleaders here. That's still happening.
all the guys are fucked.
Yeah. So he's also like, oh, by the way, here's Robin's locket. He's dead. Fuck you. So she runs off after seeing the children that he brings right into the church. And he's one of the kids. He's like, I never got to meet my parents. I had a really bad childhood. It's amazing I'm still sane. Just full Joker at that point.
Yeah, maybe sometime I can sit you down, we could chat, and I could traumatize you some more.
My room, 10:30.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So now he goes to the dungeon, and he's
Guard, bring his friend.
he's just like a twat. He goes in there and he's like, "Do you want pain or do you want death?" The guy's like, "I want to die," and he's like, "Torture him." So the other guy's like, I want pain," and he's like, "All right, torture him."
It makes no difference.
Yeah, see, doesn't matter.
He just swoops into a third guy's face to say that, and then finally, Will Scarlet's like, "Hey, I want to kill Robin Hood too. So let me go. I'll find out if he's dead. If not, I'll kill him." And then sheriff turns upside down in his face and is like, if you betray me, I'll cut out your
Cut
tongue.
out your tongue myself.
And he's like, no, don't worry about it. And then finally the sheriff's like, give him the lash anyway. It'll look more convincing. So
Well, he does this deal where he's like, okay, well, I want my freedom.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I want the reward.
Yeah.
So, all right, you are an asshole, so I trust you.
yeah.
But for that, lashing.
So now we get a whole long scene that was definitely not in the theatrical cut, but I actually really liked because it explained a whole lot of shit that I had problems with. So, the sheriff, he's all happy. He's like, my dick's so big. I killed Robin Hood. I destroyed his army. I've got Marian captured. She's going to marry me. My scribe doesn't have a tongue anymore, so I don't have to listen to his twittering.
Until he does.
Yeah.
My guard has a crooked nose.
Yeah. I have a table full of treasure that I'm just gonna fucking Scrooge McDuck swing through
Yeah.
in celebration. And his scribe tries to pick some of it up. He's like, no, I'll do that. And then he notices that there are holes in the wall. And he's like, have you been spying on me? And the scribe shakes his head. He's like,
Cowering.
that's fucking Mordiana. And he goes into her room, just storms in there, and he's like,
bitch.
you're not clairvoyant. You don't have any actual power. You've just been watching me through the fucking walls.
Dirty bitch.
And he's talking about he's gonna kill her or whatever. And she's like, you motherfucker, you'd be nothing without me. I'm your mom.
Yeah.
I killed a different baby in that castle and put my son there.
You.
Yeah, and basically after, you put one in Maid Marian and she bears a son, that grandson of mine will be royalty. And the sheriff's just like, damn, man. It just like walks on. He's like, fuck. Yeah.
He's pretty thoroughly fucked up from that revelation. He's just totally like stunned.
I don't even want to swim through my table of treasure anymore.
He doesn't even notice the skull that falls on his robe as he drags off.
Yeah, that was another good moment
into
there.
the swamp.
The one who killed your mama is your dad.
Now back in the forest, turns out Robin's alive. He's just somehow...
He's also got like a big spotlight behind him.
Oh god, yeah, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looks like the second coming. It's really
no
pathetic.
plausible explanation for
Nope.
the backlight.
Oh, I just fell on Jesus. He caught me. We're good.
Well, so
He yelled, "Jesus, take the wheel!" as he let go of the rope.
Nottingham called the Celts.
Yeah.
Robin Hood called the Rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
They got all their Jeeps with the big lights
Jesus
on.
caught me and drove me back here in his Ford Taurus.
And Azim was
That's the
just like-
headlights that are on.
Azim was like, damn.
Azim's like, "Oh, by the way, I know how to make black powder just cause."
Oh yeah.
I told
You
you,
know.
he comes prepared. He's got everything in there.
Although, also, again, like, why didn't you mention this earlier, bitch?
Why is it gotta be black powder?
It's so
It's like,
But it's like, you wanted to defend the forest. It would have been
Well,
helpful with that.
it's trade restrictions.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's
but
it's a
also,
it's a secured
it's totally
piece
useless.
of information
It does
from
nothing.
this nation.
It's
Yeah.
a big nothing burger.
They're just like, this is how we're going to have explosions in
Yes.
our finale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
And it really, it should have just been like Friar Tuck's special stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe Azim's like, I think if we put like this one chemical in your special wine or something, it'll be more volatile.
Sure.
But anyway,
Yeah, or
Rob-
basically just, he's making moonshine that's practically gasoline. Like,
But like considering
I think
everything
it can make
else
this
that's
work.
happened in this movie so far,
Yeah,
it's like
like,
just have
whatever.
the barrel of wine explode.
yeah,
Like
sure.
whatever.
sure.
So
Well.
Robin makes a plan of some sort. Will Scarlet shows up. He's like, "Yo, I'm your brother," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't have a
everything
brother."
up.
And he's like, "Fuck! Oh man, I told my dad to dump your mom. I ruined your life.
I have a brother.
Sorry, dude. Oh, I have a brother." And just starts hugging him. And
I feel like he goes full Thor from the Marvels CMU because he just I don't know where the
oh.
Great.
Also, when Will Scarlet shows back up, Little John's like, "You're filth. I'm gonna beat you to death," and just starts like slapping him across the campsite till he sees that Will is covered in lashes, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
See, it does make him more real.
Yeah,
To
and
be fair,
it
Christian Slater gets that treatment a lot.
yeah,
It's like a typical greeting for that guy.
just gets slapped out of the
filth.
establishment.
You're not Jack Nicholson. Get out of here.
I will say kind of on that Thor remark though is like it is similar in the sense he's like oh I have a brother like let's hug and everything. It's like no, I still hate you. Stop touching me.
You ruined everything.
Now we're hugging it out.
Then
bitch.
you
No, we're not.
You found me in the new life I made, and you ruined that too.
Yeah.
hug it out, bitch.
So the plan so far, as we can tell, is there's the obstacle they have to get past is this man at the gate who's just saying, "No blades, no bows, leave your weapons here," like 20 times, just over and over. And I remember from the first time I heard that movie, "No blades, no bows, leave your weapons here," like every so often in my head, that just goes off.
He's that douchebag that takes my pocket knife at the ticket.
Or Joe's pen
Mhm.
and my dark chocolate.
What?
So there was a
All right,
concert.
yeah.
No,
not now.
This just real quick. There was a concert we went to. This guy at the gate, he took my pens. He took all sorts of shit from Brick because, like, you could
wouldn't you,
potentially stab someone with it in the concert venue. Becca is wearing her pocket. She had a pair of scissors. She had like needles. She had like all this crap in her pens and markers. Nope, just got right in with all that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, look at the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was Yeah. No, they had me empty every orifice.
Like, I feel,
Yeah, and
I feel you should be frisked at my door. I'm just not willing to do it.
so
Don't tease.
they have to get past this guy. So Friar Tuck, they just wrap Nazim in blankets. They're like, you're a leper. Well, they'll let you inside the castle because no one wants to touch you.
Yeah, nobody can see a brown man.
And Friars basically tells this guy to get, he's like, yo, I got alcohol. They're like, yeah, all right, come on in.
Yeah, do it.
Bull dresses like a Celt, and they're like, everyone's like, I don't want to be near this guy, but he can come in.
He looks like
sure.
a liberal.
Robin just grabs steaming horse turds right off the ground and just rubs himself in it. He's like, if I smell terrible enough, they're not going to stop me.
I mean, to be fair, he just got done drinking a big cup of piss, too. So
He ate some of that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, off camera.
It's like Bear Grylls squeezing the juice out of the elephant turd.
yeah, it's like you got to get it when it's still steaming. Otherwise, it's no good.
So now, basically, as, you know, the sheriff's got the barons here. He's going to marry Robin, and that's going to, like, solidify his legitimacy for the throne.
Oh, wow.
Or not Robin, Marion.
Very progressive kingdom back then.
Then he's going to kill, like, the ringleaders
Can
of
see
the
it happening.
rebellion. So
Bravely
in one
case
full
of Robin.
swoop, he'll make a play for the throne. And Marion is wearing Robin's locket as part of her, her wedding attire. And, the sheriff's like, isn't that a little inappropriate? And he's like, you're killing my friends right in front of me. Isn't that inappropriate?
Oh, Marion, too soon.
So
He doesn't say it, but in his head, touche.
yeah. So now they sneak some swords in. They get like some Little John brings like a stick bundle that has a bunch of swords in it, and like his wife throws a rope over the wall, and they like bring that up. And I like how she's just sitting there, and a guard's like, what are you doing on the rampart? She's like, oh, I'm just sitting here, just by firewood, no problem. And she's still just like bullshit talking to the guy as Little John just grabs the dude with one arm and just casually lofts him over the wall behind him.
Yeah.
And I like
Get
that,
away
like,
from my wife.
it didn't even look like there's a moat. So that guy just splatted on the ground outside, and the commoners were like, it's Thursday, whatever. Let's see what he's got in his pockets.
That guy was a dick anyway.
Yeah. So now, like, Will is supposed to be right next to the stage so that when the signal goes off, he'll run up there and cut all the people that are about to be hanged loose. Oh, that was the other note I wanted to point out. In the scene where the sheriff found out that that the Morvania or whatever, Mordiana is his mom.
Veiny.
He also specified, he was like, I don't want any necks broken. I want them dancing. I want them struggling. I want this to take a while.
Dancing.
He
on
wants
my wedding.
dancing on his wedding.
That's it. And for years I was like, this hangman sucks. Because I'm like, they should just die immediately. But then seeing that scene, I'm like, all right, that makes a lot more sense now. You covered your A.
Also, great excuse to not have everybody die.
Yeah. So
Although,
now
there's no way of saying this without being terrible, but like, if you can't break a little kid's neck on the first kick, I mean, yeah, you're doing it wrong.
So Wolf here, he's being let out with the other victims, and the crowd's like throwing shit at him like you do at an execution. And Wolf immediately sees Will Scarlet, who for whatever reason is just like face first right into victims. Like, why are you there?
I'm pretty sure, like, you can't hear shit.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's trying to clue him into what the plan is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the worst person to do it because the kid's immediately like, you're the traitor. Fuck you.
So now, the sheriff's men grab him, and sheriff's like, hey, did you kill Rob? And he's like, nah, I saw his grave. He's dead. So we good? Sheriff's like, no, string him up with the rest.
You got a sword in here.
Yeah, I don't know what you're up to. And so now, they get to the
Also, if I
gallows.
kill you, I don't have to give you the reward.
Yeah, there's no extra nooses there. So, Will Scarlet's like, I'm afraid I'm going to have to decline. There's no room. The executioner just like shoves his head on the barrel of black powder that they left there. I don't know why that they needed that there, but they have it
They
there.
were going to blow it up for a distraction.
Yeah. It's just going to blow up the people on
Yeah.
the stage.
It's a bad plan.
Yeah.
But that's what they were going to do.
So they just tie Will Scarlet's head right to that, and they'll behead him after everyone else hangs. So now Robin pulls out his bow that he had in his walking stick. And whatchamacallit? Oh, the hangman, as he ties Will Scarlet down, he's like, there's plenty of room, and spits on him. And this is gross.
There's always room for JELL. Oh no.
So they start the drum roll, and nobody does anything. And then Robin's like, fuck it, I'm gonna spring into action. But the executioner's like, I'm gonna kick this little kid's stool out from under him, and he's gonna start hanging. So Robin, he takes an arrow and he fires it. And it cuts this kid's rope
A little bit.
A little bit first, but then he gets the second one that has a bullet-like spin on the arrowhead.
Yeah, that bow was rifled.
Yeah.
Well, because he licked the flesh.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he did.
Or something
But-
tore it off. I don't even know.
No, that was a different one.
Yeah, when he did the split shot to get two guys at once.
He tore it off.
So
Yeah.
you don't need spin stabilization on an arrow. That's
Also,
what the feathers are for.
if you have spin stabilization, you're less likely to cut a rope.
Yeah. So he cuts the rope. The kid falls. Wolf falls back down. Marion's just like, Robin! And, the guards start coming in. Chaos breaks out. What's his name? Azim has like a flaming arrow that he fires into the cart full of black powder. It fucking explodes like kaboomers. And you're like, wow, that's a cool explosion. It really doesn't need to be in this scene, but that's a cool explosion.
It's a 90s
Michael
movie,
Vick.
Joe. It had to have an explosion in there somewhere.
That's how you can set up the movie poster shot where everything's on fire.
Yeah.
So Big Dick Bull over here, he cuts the rope to the portcullis and, keeps all the King's guards from coming in to help out. The executioner, the sheriff's like, get on with it to the executioner. He just like kicks everyone's stools out. So they're all hanging, and then he's got his beheading axe, like he's gonna behead Will Scarlet. And that's when Kevin Costner's like, check this out. Fire up the slow-mo. I got my burning arrow. Everything behind me's on fire. I'm
got my
firing an
half pipe.
arrow on fire. It looks so cool. Like, this is going to be such a good movie poster. And it is admittedly a cool movie poster. This is indeed the film's box. But he shoots this executioner right in the face. And
With a burning arrow.
with a burning arrow. And then Little John, by this point, he's gotten down and he just bull rushes the gallows and knocks the whole fucking structure over. Saves everyone from that. Now everyone's free. Everything's running amok. The barons are like, is this your idea of how you're going to run the country or whatever? And the sheriff's like, shut up, you twit. And he grabs Marion and runs off with her. And Azim's like, yo, I'm the painted man. Fight for Robin Hood. Everyone's like, yeah, okay.
Why not?
Everyone was going to run away. And then they turn around. They're like, yeah, let's just beat these fuckers up. And they start like fighting the guards.
I will say, I do like, at least in the initial scene after this, it does seem to be a fairly realistic reaction where you see a wave of people running until like two guards come around the corner in armor on horses,
Yep.
and then they just scatter. Like, fuck, never mind.
So Robin's got a solution for that problem. He takes two arrows, bites one fletching off of each of them to make them fly wild. In his mind, fly slightly ajar, and it shoots them both at the same time. Why he didn't just hold one arrow in his hand, shoot one, and then shoot the other, I don't know. But
Coolness.
very, very proto Legolas here.
Because we hadn't officially declared that other scene in the poster yet.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Roto-loss.
So yeah, Azim, he rolls really well in the speech check to rally the populace. And now they're like, all right, there's this portcullis. We can't lift it up. Because there's like 5 people trying to climb it. Like it goes into the ceiling. Like you can't climb over it. Like, well, I could shake it better up here. I don't know. So Robin's like, all right, well, I can't use the portcullis because everyone's on it. I'll use the catapult. And they push it over and, set it up. He's like, hey, Will, you want to fire me into the castle? Will's like, God damn, I do.
It would be a very interesting alternative ending if he was like, no, I was actually going to betray you, and this is how. And he just splats him right into the wall. He's like, got him, Sheriff. Yeah. Good man.
And, you get a nice tie back to earlier in the movie where basically, Robin's sitting in the catapult basket, and then Azim gets in there because he can't be separate from Robin. So he has to ride over the wall on a catapult with him. And he asks her, if Maid Marian's worth it. And Robin's like, worth dying for. And then Will just flings them over the wall. They clear it. They land in the convenient Assassin's Creed hay bale.
Of course.
2 chickens fly up in the air. And he's like, fuck me, they cleared it. The movie
See, I'm
uses
telling
its
you,
one
he was
F
thinking
word
about it.
on that. So now Mortiana and the bishop and the sheriff and Maid Marian are all in the chapel. And Mortiana's like, yo, you gotta fuck her right now. She's right. Just
it's time.
puts the hand on her belly.
Do it.
Can tell, she's good to go from there. Like,
Can't wait anymore.
and he's
wanna
like,
watch.
I'm gonna do one thing in my life properly. We need to be married first. And the bishop's like, yo, they're revolting. We gotta go. And she just like claws the bishop across his head. It's like, marry them now. So the bishop's trying to marry him while he's like undressing. And this scene just gets nuts.
It's
It
just bizarre, man.
keeps progressively amping up the weird.
This was one of the major parts that got cut out of multiple versions of this movie for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now Robin and Azim are just storming the castle. They're fighting guards. They kill the guards. They find the scribe. They're holding a sword to him. They're like, "Where's the sheriff?" And he's like, "It's up there in the chapel." And you're like, "Your tongue is cut out."
Yep.
He was
Like,
just pretending.
I got better.
Yeah. It grew back.
Well, yeah, he's like, I'm the one who, writes down whose tongue is cut out, so I just said that I did it.
He's just running a scam.
Yeah. So now they go outside the door, and they start like trying to smash the door down. They get the statue of Sheriff of Nottingham, and the only thing that could break through English oak is another English oak. So the statue just shatters against the wall. So Azim's like, well, I'll take the severed head of the sheriff and keep banging on the door. Robin's like, I'm gonna go do some fucking stunt show spectacular shit with a tapestry here. Meanwhile, it's full on rape time inside the chapel. The bishop, I mean not the bishop, the bishop.
He was getting off.
Yeah, he tells him he asks the sheriff if he does. The sheriff's like, get on with it. Of course I do.
I'm
And
about to.
He asks Marion if she's, if she does. And she's like, no. And he like slams his hand over her face and is like, of course she does. And then he just like throws her on the ground. The sheriff's mom is like, it like skulkers up and like puts a pillow under her head. And he's like, I can't do this with all this racket going on. There's banging on the door. The bishop is just like, I gotta go.
The bishop is trying to marry this couple.
Yep.
She's clearly fighting it while literally fighting him,
Yeah.
who is trying to mount her. His mother is trying to like take his pants off for him. Meanwhile, there's a satanic ritual thing behind the bishop, and he's just like, "What the hell's
There's
going on with
also
that?"
a revolt going on
Yeah,
outside.
yeah. There's a revolt outside. There's people trying to bash down this
And
door.
there's a Moor at the door.
It's fucking crazy.
There's a Moor at the door.
And yeah, the mother is just like, I want to see. Oh wait, I gotta teleport through the wall for a moment.
Yeah. Presumably she has secret passages, I guess, but they don't show that. She can just bypass the wall.
She just goes through the
At her
little
convenience.
holes in the wall.
Yeah. Well, it's
An
cracking the floor.
apparition.
I want to see the scene where her and Robin like run in opposite directions across the roof, and they both grab the tapestry and swing down.
So, meanwhile, the sheriff now, he has positioned his legs in such a way that he like drives them like a wedge between Marion's legs and then forces them apart. And you're like, oh man. And at this
I've tried
point,
that before. It doesn't
Nope.
end well.
then Robin swings
you're
on
not
a
stronger than
tapestry
your
and
wife.
crashes through the window. And the sheriff, like, Alan Rickman's face is so great. He's like, God damn it, what now? He's like, I guess I have to kill this motherfucker
With a boner.
with my boner and his father's sword. This sword was sharpened on Brian Bless's teeth. It is no match for, like, Robin's sword is no match for this sword. And meanwhile, the Mortiana here
The mother
bypassed the wall, grabs a friggin' spear, and just charges into Morgan Freeman's leg with it. And then she's like, "Oh, it's the painted man. I'm sorry. I'm just a harmless old woman. I didn't mean to put this spear." And you're like, and then she grabs it. And she's like, this is a fully charged, like Morgan Freeman's, he never wasn't old, but this is like a fully charged middle-aged Morgan Freeman. Just grabs the spear and like throws this woman like a fucking catapult against the wall. This woman only weighs like 80 pounds or whatever. Just whips her against the stonework, and she comes charging at him with her claws like, and he just runs her through with the spear.
Well, she skewers herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she runs onto the spear that he holds out.
Yeah, weirdly, there's this whole like side story basically where this old witch woman, I don't know, she's actually a witch, it's all fake, but like she's, this is her arch rival, this is her nemesis, this is her death, her doom, whatever, and she's so worried about this, and she's got this whole plan. She tries to attack him, then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, then tries to attack him again and ends up skewering herself.
Yeah.
All while Morgan Freeman is just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, talk about self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I mean, when they meet, she's like, the painted man. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the witch. And then, they do battle.
But that's the like he barely has a moment to go like the witch. Oh wait, a spear. Oh, she's dead.
My favorite part of this, though, is this woman, so she impales herself by running on his spear. She's ran through, and she's basically just like, I'm gonna go. And he's like, that's fine. She just walks down the hall.
She does.
Like, just leave me alone. I don't want to deal with you. He continues trying to smash down the door. Now, Robin and the sheriff, this fight I viewed twice today. And on first viewing, I'm like, this is a pretty decent fight. But then I realized on the second viewing, I'm like, this is one of those fights where both people can only throw power attacks. And they're doing just these huge, wide telegraphed swings that have no chance of connecting. And like they're destroying everything in the room. And they're like 2 minutes into this, they're both just blown out.
I forgot, is
exhausted.
Marion doing anything during this? Is
Not
she
much.
throwing shit at the...
She throws a bench against the sheriff, and he falls and hits his head on it.
Okay.
Which causes Robin to swoop down with the sword and cut his hair off.
Okay. Yeah, that's
cut off part of the sheriff's hair, and Robin's like, I'll take you piece by piece if I have to. And the sheriff's like, I'll be the only one doing the taking, and grabs Marion and kisses her, which causes her to grab a candle and dump the hot wax on his chest.
He's like super into that. So
Yeah.
it just
Oh,
feels
that
uneven.
explains the scarring later.
Yeah, he has
Okay,
a
I see
grody
that.
burn on his chest for the rest of the scene.
I am glad that she is not completely useless throughout all this.
Yep.
But like, yeah, she spends a lot of it like cowering in a windowsill.
I mean, she's been through a lot that day.
Yeah, fair.
She didn't even have a
There's
Wheaties
also-
that
What
morning.
would you want her to do?
Stab him, throw something at him, like any.
I felt like she
Does
contributed.
most of those things.
Yeah, I felt like she contributed to this fight enough.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Also, considering that these two are throwing wild haymakers with their swords all over the
Yeah.
place,
Yes,
big
that
one.
is perhaps the
I'm
biggest
gonna
thing.
get accidentally killed here.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll
Meanwhile,
get an enchanted bracelet and be like,
All right.
yeah, meanwhile, we now witness an obese holy man fighting another obese holy man
"Yep,
with sacks of money.
Charlatan holy man.
Yeah, so like the bishop, he's
Which
like
one?
loading up all his coins and whatnot. He's packing all his treasure, and like the Friar Tuck comes in, and he's like, "You fucking liar! You accused people of being heretics and whatnot. And, you're on the sheriff's payroll, and you're the one who's sworn to Satan." And the bishop's like, "Hey, holy man, bro." Not gonna hit me. And the friar's like, "No, I'm not gonna hit you." He's like, "I'm gonna help you pack," and he just starts giving him more
I'm gonna
money.
hit you with a shame spell.
Yeah, and he's throwing all this money
Out
in his
the
hand, and
window.
then he's like, in full like crazy face, he's like, "And here's 30 pieces of silver so you can pay the devil when you get to hell," and just pushes him out the window. It's an awesome death, and I
pretty
like
badass."
Yep.
after he splats on the ground. There's like 4 or 5 people outside are like, "Ooh, change."
Mine,
Run
mine.
it over.
It's like a Catholic pinata.
Man, Catholic pinatas in the Middle Ages, that's an awesome concept. So anyway, so now
It's a gross one.
the sheriff
Yeah.
drops his sword for some reason. It's something causes him to drop his sword. So he's running around throwing everything in the room at Robin. And Robin, rather than pressing the advantage, is like, I don't want to maybe get hit with a bench so I can run this guy through. So I'll just let him throw things at me. And then finally, like, the sheriff gets the sword back. He's like, "Ha ha," and he cuts Robin's sword. And so Robin like throws the sword handle at him. That doesn't do anything. And
It's
the
not
sheriff,
Superman.
nope. The sheriff, gets the sword against Robin, and he could just run him through
Yeah.
there, but he's like, that's not a power attack. So I got to draw back and wind up.
Yeah.
And Marion screams Robin, which causes the sheriff to go like, "Oh." And then Robin draws the dagger that Marion gave him from its sheath in his boot and just jams that into the sheriff. And the sheriff's
Which is the knife that the sheriff gave to her.
Yep. So kills him with his
Harkonnen.
own dagger that he gave to her. And he's just like, this is my fucking dagger. Really?
Yeah, he stumbles around.
Yeah.
He
That
takes
was
it
a
out.
present.
And he's just
I
like,
gave this
I
to
gave this to
you."
you.
Go over by the window.
You really don't like me.
Just bitches.
And they're like, wow, you're taking forever to die. And he's like, Alan Rickman, I'll do this how I want.
Last time I just got thrown over a wall and turned into a claymation dummy.
Yeah. So, now we get a jump scare where the Mortiana here has again bypassed the wall. And she's like, I was hiding behind the altar the whole time. Yep. Comes out and starts running at Robin. Azim fucking busts the door down and throws his massive scimitar across the room. It's like this one, she leaves the ground, she's run through, goes flying back and lands near the sheriff's corpse. And he's like, I have repaid my debt.
He limps off.
I'm leaving.
And then he is just dragged off camera. Just my home planet needs me.
So, Marion's like, it's the worst. Just, I've had a bad day. Just make out with me in front of Alan Rickman's corpse.
Like aggressively make out.
Cut to the wedding in Sherwood Forest. They're getting married. Friar Tuck's about to say the final words when Sean Connery's like, I object. I must block this cock.
I mean, it didn't work for me because I became rock hard at the sound of his voice.
Oh, yes.
The prima nocta jokes ensued.
Prima cocta.
And he's just like,
It's not even a joke. Like, she volunteered at that point.
It's like, we're related by blood, so I will give you to this man. Otherwise, I would claim prima nocta and take you right here.
She was like, don't let that stop you.
So,
I've already had it.
yeah, he's like, thanks, Robin Hood. You saved the kingdom, blah, blah, blah. Here's this woman, get married. And then, Friar Tuck, he's like, I now pronounce you man and wife. They kiss. Sean Connery celebrates like a field goal got kicked. He's like, yeah. And then, you see the cast one last time. They're all, happy and cheering. And then Friar Tuck, like, almost breaks the fourth
Deadpool.
wall.
Oh, he
all of a
straight
sudden,
up breaks
like-
the fourth wall.
So
absolutely.
he's talking to them from the positioning, but you couldn't tell that. It looks like he's just talking to the audience. He's like, "Oh, just stop! You're wasting good celebration time." And you're like, "What the hell was that?" And then the movie's like, "Here's some Bryan Adams." You're like, "God damn it, gotta go!"
Yeah, we quickly just cut into the Smash Mouth. You see the three little pigs are dancing with
Somebody.
Pinocchio.
Everything I do.
Not
Robin
worth
Hood,
dying
Prince of
for.
Thieves.
do it for
I gotta go pee.
you.
You know it's
I'd
true.
Fight for you.
Everything I do,
I would lie for you.
Go blind
I would die for you.
I do it for Trebek.
Pound my pud for you. I'd cry for you. I'd walk for
Tony.
you. I'd squawk for you.
Tony.
Take a cock for you.
Are you looking to Tony to help save you?
Yeah, baby,
The voice of
I'd-
reason has left the room.
I would rock
About that Rotten Tomatoes.
you.
Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes.
You know it's true.
As usual,
Everything I do.
because I'm an idiot, I thought, what a perfect place to pause the recording so we can wait till Joe gets.
No. It's
Oh yeah, obviously, because now that you've done that, there's no way that it's getting cut out.
no.
No, that was his debut.
That's the best part. That's what everybody's waiting for.
Also, Robin was the hero, and his sidekick.
I can't wait to hear this. I cannot
It's
wait.
so bad. And his
I heard
sidekick
it's a Batman joke, and it's going to go nowhere because it's not going to relate
was
to
the
anything.
painted man. This is the painted man and Robin.
Which means nothing. Nothing
Because
at all.
man and Robin.
No.
Batman,
no,
Robin,
no,
but painted man.
no,
and Robin.
No.
What?
no.
It's not even a pun or something.
Like it would have
no,
been, like it
it's-
would have made more sense if you
they're
said like
sidekicks.
if you said Black Man and Robin.
No.
But that would have been weird,
That would have been
Rick
racist.
said something.
awful.
As I was walking towards the room, I just heard, no, no, no.
No. Yeah, just
Yeah,
no.
I thought you were gonna say you just felt a shudder in the force. Like
He
10,000
decided
voices
to try
cried out
his
at once
hand
and
at
were
like
silenced.
making words come together in a funny way.
He likes to try
It
that.
did not happen.
It did not.
Tony,
So,
It
people,
did not.
let us know in that little interlude where it could have easily been cut out
Rotten
if you
bags
like
of
that or
chickens
not.
and potatoes.
Write in, let us know. Meanwhile, on RottenTomatoes.com, critics gave this a score of 51%.
Huh.
Audience gave this a score of 72%. That's their thoughts and opinions. What about you and yours, Bricks? And while you're still conscious,
I'm totally sober now.
that's not what I meant.
I would rather watch this movie than The Princess Bride, but I would still have it in the background.
what a freaking nutsack.
It was fine.
I know
there
that's
was
your
some
opinion,
action
but you're
scenes.
objectively wrong.
You know, there was some stuff going on. I like the tree forts; those are pretty cool. But it's like medieval Star Wars, so it's Robin Hood.
So recommend, recommend, accept.
I'd recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like a B.
John.
This is a tough one. I don't.
Is it because it's so damn long?
Yeah, that and just I don't know. I guess I'll give it a light recommend. I can't think of another Robin Hood movie I'd rather watch.
Full agreement on that.
How long is the Disney one?
Aside from me, I was gonna say maybe the Disney
The
one
Disney
with the
one,
fucking
yes.
furries. Like,
Yeah, but furries, yeah, but it's probably like under an hour.
But it's also really well done art. Like they made a snake.
It
fold
just
his
copied
arms.
over the Jungle Book.
They did
I mean,
make
they
a
did.
snake fold his arms. That was pretty awesome.
but yeah, overall, like it's not a movie there's nothing that's very impressive about it. As far as medieval films go, I'd rather watch. Well, it takes place earlier than medieval, but I'd rather watch like Gladiator, or if we're talking like a full-on medieval movie. I know you guys aren't fans, but I'd rather watch Excalibur. So yeah, but light recommend. If you're gonna watch a Robin Hood movie, I guess watch this one.
All right, Joe.
8.5 turd smelling, turd covered Kevin Costner's out of 10.
I think it's
So
good.
light recommend.
No. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and while I did not appreciate the 2.5-hour runtime, basically ruining my entire day, if I was prepared for that, I would have been okay with that too. I preferred the extended cut because it explained a lot of the inconsistencies I found in the movie when I was younger. But really, like, the only complaint I have about this movie is Kevin Costner. And while Kevin Costner's terrible, like, Alan Rickman's fucking amazing. And Alan Rickman alone makes
He
this
is
movie a recommend.
He is what saves it. Yeah.
Yeah, without like just his performance alone is a you have to watch this movie. But I mean, I liked the action scenes; those were good. I liked the characters. The ones that they like the ones they added were cool, like Azim, Will Scarlet. I didn't like that, but that was only a minor thing that's kind of just shoehorned in there.
I feel like they did made
Well,
marry
him
him
being
pretty
his
well.
brother.
His brother, yeah. And it was just unnecessary conflict for no reason. But that being said, like the end fight I thought was real cool. The courtyard scene, the execution, and then whatever the fuck is happening in the chapel at the end it's just so nuts. But I love it. I can see why a lot of people do have problems with that scene. There are some viewers that I would not even question why they would outright hate that scene. But
Multiple parts of it.
yeah. But overall, I had a fun time with it, and I would give this movie I'd give it B+. I could be talked into an A-, but it's hard with the double punch of Will Scarlet and then Kevin Costner just fumbling his way through Robin Hood doing the bare minimum. That being said, though, I fully recommend it, and while there are other medieval movies I would rather watch, I would say that this provides a much more levity than something like Gladiator or Excalibur has. So I would watch it over those two. Gladiator, obviously, I'd fast forward and watch like select scenes because there is some amazing stuff in there. But anyway, there's nothing like Alan Rickman though.
No.
So Yeah, I would give it B plus. Full recommend.
Okay, and for the opposing opinion, Rob.
No, I'm actually halfway between John and Joe, I think, on this one. Like, it is long. It's way too long.
How many turd covered Costners?
Like 6, probably.
How many light recommend or recommend?
No, I'll give it a light recommend. It was overall, like, it was a solid movie. Like, the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, this movie's fine. Like, there's nothing egregious about it. Kevin Costner sucks, but that's nothing new. Like, we're used to that. I knew what I was getting when I was, it's like, it says exactly what it is on the tin. And Alan Rickman was out of control. My biggest grievance with the movie is that, like, between Rickman and Costner, it's like completely different movies happening at the same time. Like, I'm legit waiting for, like, the Power Rangers to show up every time Alan Rickman's on film.
The comedic element that Alan Rickman was trying to bring to it does conflict.
Yeah, because it was like, they're trying to make Gladiator,
But I love that.
but then they're trying to also make like a cartoon, and that was just weird. And then it just, the movie was a little bit too long for me, but overall it was fine.
I think kind of the feel from what I'm getting is that we would have rather have watched the cartoon, as you were saying, that Rickman was portraying. That was more enjoyable.
Well, I will say, on the similar vein, I am on the recommendation train on this one. I'm glad that he is the standout in this, like, because Al Rickman, he takes the cake. He's the whole reason to watch this. But I don't think it would have been quite as enjoyable if everyone was on the same page and trying to be silly. I think it really works for me because everyone else is more serious. And he's just fucking the Joker coming through with his chaos and destruction. And I loved it. It may be not the best kind of medieval movie, whatever, but like Robin Hood's, this is definitely up there for a good reason. I would recommend this. So overall, I'm going to say we are recommending Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Cool.
I'm going to throw out a warning. Do not, under any circumstance, watch the Ridley Scott Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, whoa. Oh, yeah, why would you? Or the WB show of the same name.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
like the Ridley Scott one, I'm like, Ridley Scott, he did Gladiator. This guy, it's got Russell Crowe, it's got all these other people, and I'm like, I got suckered into it, and then like 5 minutes in, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to Robin Hood?
I'm like, oh, this is Prometheus Ridley Scott.
Also, don't
Got
watch
it.
the whatever that one with Jamie Foxx and whatever. But there's a lot of terrible ones.
okay.
Don't you worry about it.
Just stay away from
Anyway.
Robin Hoods in general, I guess, is really the thing.
Read the book.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
read the book.
well, if you're gonna watch a
Watch
movie,
the cartoon.
you got this one. You got maybe the cartoon and maybe the Errol Flynn one. That's about the closest I could say.
Sure.
Was Kevin
So-
Costner in Postman?
Yes.
Ah, I
He was
got
the
one.
postman.
There we go.
Postino.
That was when they're like, you're not allowed to make movies anymore.
We're.
I think it's your turn to roll, Tony.
Didn't I roll this?
Not in the drawer, it's right behind you, behind Hogwarts.
Well, that was we are
Hogwarts.
at the end of the cycle.
Yep.
But we have two others.
Hog
So now
Schwartz.
you guys can figure that shit out.
Okay, you said a thing. I'm doing a thing. Rolling the die. D20 of fate. That's a 7.
I thought it was a 1 for a moment.
I did too. Surprised it's not, honestly. Oh no. Sounds like this already.
I mean, this is 1999's The Matrix.
Oh, the first one?
What did I just say?
Said the 1999 The Matrix.
Yes.
Did
So-
I say The Matrix Reloaded?
Oh yeah, I forgot there were
Revolutions.
subtitles.
Go.
It was either that or throw this glass at his head.
Do it.
Yeah, so Matrix next time.
Wow.
There you go.
Hmm.
I'm afraid to see how this holds up.
Y'all
I
probably
have
doesn't.
such a bummer
Probably not
right
great.
I'm gonna be so mad with the two-gun mojo.
You get to hear Rage Against the Machine. at
We
the
can
end.
talk all about that next
Yep.
Yep,
time.
everybody get the hell out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good night, all. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Adios.
Bye bye.
Good night, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, and if possible, leave a review. If you have questions, comments, or would like to sponsor an episode, email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, you can buy a t-shirt, hoodie, and more at Teespring. Or gain access to exclusive content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/4ampodcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.